going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick. We got the household with us, minus Scooter, who is on her way to have a baby. Ooh, yay!
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Don't you remember when we were doing that?
I do.
That's crazy. It feels like
When
yesterday, and now
I
she's
was
almost
Is she
half
supposed to get
a year
induced tomorrow?
old.
Is that it? What was that?
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
well,
Tomorrow.
today for you guys.
Today.
Tomorrow for us. Yay! So excited for Scooter. The Olympics are going on. Did you guys watch the Olympics?
Oh yeah,
Anyone?
obsessed.
We.
We.
Friends. There we go. We turned it on all day. Got big into archery.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
And fencing.
Fencing.
and fencing.
Fencing.
I didn't realize how much they hop during fencing.
They do hop a
I
lot.
learned how it works. I'm so thankful for the person who explains the game
Oh, yeah?
and how it happens.
I
and how
always
it
am
works.
fascinated by these random sports, like maybe non-mainstream sports.
Yeah.
And then where do they find the experts to commentate on the sports?
I don't know. It's like little leagues or something. I'm like that, because it's also shocking how many people are in the stands too for these like random sports you've never heard of before. I was like, how does this even work? I learned about handball this weekend.
Love handball. Team handball.
Handball's cute.
Yeah, well,
Cute.
it gave me the ick a little bit.
Why did it give you the ick?
I don't know. It just, and like, don't come for me because I don't know. It's the first time I saw it, but it felt like I was watching like kids kind of make up their own sport. They're like, well, we don't do
That is-
basketball, we don't do soccer, we don't do rugby, but let's just throw it all together and then see what happens. And then I was like, I just couldn't imagine being stuck in a conversation, like date with a guy that plays handball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, so then you're gonna bounce it, and then you're gonna throw it, and then you'll dribble once. And I was like, this just it's too intense for me.
Canceled.
It's a fun game.
Canceled.
It's a really
Canceled
fun
by the hand game
By the
community.
handball committee.
Handball
The hand
community.
game.
I'll take it. I'm sorry.
The hand job community.
I just love the intensity that the commentators bring. You know, we were turned on archery and it was like South Korea versus China. South Korea had never lost. And
Uh-huh.
we had turned it on when it was like a sudden death situation. And the commentators were like, hold your breaths. This might be the most intense Olympic moment of all time. Meanwhile, no one knows how archery works at all. But I was totally in for the 30 seconds. We caught it at the very end. It was
Okay.
already in the middle of a sudden death situation. South Korea defended their title. They've never lost. China, I think, always taken second. Super competitive sport, apparently.
Yeah. Pretty iconic.
That's
I
impressive.
feel like I would be very good at rugby, and I want to play.
Whoa.
Okay, rugby.
Hot take, and I know I'm going to get trolled for that because they're going to be like, bitch.
I'll be on the sidelines.
But I feel like I would be.
I think she would be too. Yeah.
What part? Just like the running with and how the score, like you running into people.
The American women's rugby team
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're buff.
dominating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it seems to be like professionals versus high school people. Like every time I looked up, women's rugby scored. They played Japan and then they played Brazil.
Maybe
Either way, they're
that's why,
dominated.
because they made it look so easy.
Yeah.
You can tackle.
Ma- Well, yeah, I could for
There
sure
you go.
tackle.
Okay.
And I could
I think you get the frame.
Interesting.
thank you.
You're sleeping outside tonight.
And like I feel like that's a compliment in a weird way, but thank you very much. Speaking of my body type, my boobs are to my ankles.
Oh.
No, and it's so sad because listen, I would argue that they were maybe my best feature. Okay, I was very blessed. Like people would nonstop be like, "Just fucking admit it. You have fake boobs. Just admit it. Just say it. Just say it." And I was like, "Guys, I really don't." Like they were really good. And then I had a baby, and then I breastfed that baby, and she has sucked them to the absolute nothings of nothings, and now they are down, deflated titties down to my ankles, and it's so depressing. It's like. Every day
visual.
I
Quite
look in the mirror.
possibly the
The
a bit of
visual.
exaggeration, but Natalie is going through it right now. So.
Like whenever I put on a bra, I have to pick up my titty
Oh
and
my
put it
gosh.
into my bra. No, they're it's the saddest thing. Like, why would they do that to you?
You give the miracle of life. They have to take. They need all the.
They
They
take
need
fucking
everything.
I'm sure they'll
everything
bounce
from-
back, right?
No, this is
No
the part
pun
where they would
intended.
bounce back.
Mm.
Yeah, and they're doing the opposite.
I
for
said that
sure.
last night too.
Okay.
I was like, it's a little too late for them to bounce back. We are done with.
In
The
those
only-
situations, I don't know what I'm supposed to say other than like, you look amazing.
And
And
I'm
you
like, but do they look better than before? And he's like, well, yes. And I'm like, before I had a baby? He's like, they look the same. I'm like, do they? He's like,
I don't know what I'm supposed to
Um,
say in this moment because I feel like it's a game of gotcha.
You
You're fucking lying.
lose situation.
Yeah.
Just keep your mouth shut.
So if y'all see me on Instagram with some big old rock hard fake tits,
Okay.
that's why. And
You know now people, anytime your boobs look good, which they do on the internet, now people are going
Oh,
to
no.
accuse you of getting like,
But no, they'll know because I'm gonna make it like a whole thing. I'm not just gonna like pop up one day. I'm gonna be like, okay, everyone, we're gonna do Get Ready With Me to get my boobs done.
I just lifted my arms up every day, and they all of a sudden just went back exactly the way that they were. No.
So I
as Justin
actually
said, they
took
bounce back.
They'll
I
bounce
took
back.
I took a safety pin and I pinned them up to my chest so that they are no longer down to my ankles.
You're beautiful.
Thanks. It's just so sad.
Well, you said you're gonna wait till after you have a second baby, right?
I'll wait after the second, but I'm definitely not waiting till the third.
No.
You know, like
Get at it.
Thank God I'm married and like you just like you knew me before. So like you are like, you know what? At least you got some of that.
I think you look great.
No, for sure.
I don't.
I'm just here to let everyone know that new insecurity unlocked is deflated, saggy ass titties.
Couldn't tell.
So-
Not at all.
Oh well. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Should we go through the list of the most niche Olympic sports for the
Oh,
summer?
yes, of course. Jump right back into it. Woo!
We have breaking,
Breakdancing.
like breakdancing.
That's an Olympic sport.
I would do good
Mhm.
at that.
We have rhythmic gymnastics.
Love.
So like ribbon twirling and like the ball.
I love rhythm. I love
Love.
anything that has to do with gymnastics.
Same.
Yeah.
We have Olympic trampoline.
How is
I
that
would
different than
dominate.
gymnastics?
Rhythmic gymnastics is dance with the
No,
ribbon.
no.
Oh.
Yeah.
The
I'm
trampoline.
familiar with rhythmic gymnastics, but like trampoline.
How is
One's
that
on
different?
a trampoline, one's on a bar, a beam, the
So
floor,
gymnastics-
Gymnastics, you're
vault.
throwing your whole
Why does
body
trampoline
around.
get their whole?
You're
own-
thinking of vault.
own-
Like vault is where you jump off of
Well,
it.
I'm
and
just
it's what-
wondering why trampoline gets its own sport, but gymnastics is a collection of a variety of activities. Ha!
No,
Good
that's
question, right?
it's
I know,
not.
because it's
No,
like you have
gymnastics
floor,
is
you have
gymnastics.
uneven bars. It's all the same thing, but you're just doing it in different.
Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
Because I feel like that
Can
was
I see a picture
crazy.
of a trampoline Olympic athlete? And that's not a gymnastic athlete?
They're on a trampoline.
And what's the
They
goal?
only do stuff on a trampoline.
No, I get that.
I'm sure they have the same skill set to a degree
Do they?
of like flipping and bouncing.
They don't get that.
He's trying to help you.
I feel like the
Yeah.
trampoline
Yeah.
is the Olympic athlete.
He's on your side here.
Natalie and I are like they're different.
You're not wrong. I think it's different technique.
Like,
All right.
do I
Different
think
trampoline.
if Simone Biles was told she needed to do the trampoline,
She could
would
probably
she
do it.
absolutely get gold on it? Probably.
Sure, exactly.
But I do think they have different difficulties.
I guess my point is I feel like all the Olympic gymnastic people could be better than the Olympic trampoline people if they wanted to, but they're just too busy doing gymnastics.
Sure.
Okay.
Not to get all the trampoline enthusiast after me this morning, but like,
When was the last time y'all jumped on a trampoline?
I wasn't allowed to have one when I was little, so
God, of
people broke their
course.
arms on it.
Yeah.
my sister broke her arm on one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My brother did too. But that didn't stop my mom from getting us one. And we would wet it with the hose and jump on it. So
Oh,
it was
so it
like,
would, like,
extra
bounce?
dangerous. Yeah, but you'd go super high
Wet it?
with a hose.
Is wet it a word?
Water
What's
it,
going on?
wet
Get
it.
it wet?
Wet it?
Is that a word?
Wet it?
I mean, you say wet the bed. That's an action verb, so wet,
Wet
it.
it? Yeah. I guess.
Carry on.
Yeah, and you jump really high. I wonder.
If they wet the trampoline.
Have you
Wet
seen
the
the
trampoline?
workout that's on trampolines right now?
Mm.
And
No.
women.
Oh, where you
it's-
bounce?
Yeah, they're like, and they're jumping, but they're doing kind of a routine where they're like kicking and turning.
Are they, were they in they're like strapped to the ceiling?
No, I've
No.
seen that
Those
one
are
too.
great.
That
Those
one's
are great.
crazy.
They hold like a frame. and
No,
they're-
there's no frame. There's just like a small individual trampoline, and they're like kicking knee up, and everybody knows what they're doing in the class.
They're wearing like a vest.
No,
No, that's a different one.
they're that's the like whoosh.
They
where
have like
like
goats.
fly.
They have goats jumping on them as they do it.
No.
Right.
We'll get
But
there.
honestly, it's like it's so impressive to watch because they all know this routine that they're doing. But however, I'm just like, if I were doing it, I would be the person that like is the reason why they have waivers in the beginning. Like my foot would go through.
I saw a tweet that was like middle-aged women will do anything but work out.
Yeah.
And that was the thing they used was trampolines.
That was one of the trampolines.
Yeah.
And I know what you guys are talking about where they look like they're like skydiving
Flying.
kind of.
Okay, wait. There's modern pentathlon.
What is that?
You ride horses.
Do you like dressage?
Love.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. It's so fun to watch.
Is that where the horses jump over things?
And
no,
they're
dance.
shooting-
They're like dancing horses.
And they shoot targets.
I
the
know.
Olympics,
The Olympics
are
are
fun.
crazy.
We have marathon swimming.
Love.
What?
Marathon swimming.
How far do they go?
A marathon?
Idiot.
They do 26 miles?
It says over 2 hours.
That's not the same.
I don't know.
Oh.
Table tennis
Love ping pong.
and sports climbing.
Rock
So like
climbing.
indoor rock climbing, yeah.
Wow.
That's the most
Those are the
obscure.
weird ones, yeah. So we can go through the
that's
whole list if you
no,
want
no,
to.
that's
No,
okay. I don't feel like we don't need to do that.
Anything with a race, I love. The swimming, the track and field.
Mm-hmm.
Gymnastics is pretty great.
Yep.
I will say I think I watched the wrong live stream because my whole live stream was in like French.
You
Like is like
I think you watched
like
it
there
all.
was no English commentator.
Oh,
Were you
def-
watching on Peacock?
I was watching on Peacock,
I was like, Peacock?
but I must have done the wrong thing, and I was like, I think they should be explaining.
You just thought that's just because it's in France.
Yeah, I was like, I guess we're just supposed to know, and like we just dig the vibe.
Can I also say how cool it is that Peacock has like the instant replays? So you can like replay any event that's happened. So I'm like, I was going back and watching stuff from like day
Same.
one qualifications, but I was like, that is so awesome because you've never really gotten to experience it like that before, where it's like if you miss something, you don't have to like record it. You can just like go back and
It's
watch
only
it.
live for like 15 days though,
Ah,
so you
wow.
better watch.
Do you have a favorite country other than America to root for?
France and some of the things, Italy. I don't know. I'm just like a big fan of the whole thing. Australia,
All of them.
all of them. Algeria, Albania.
Albania?
Okay.
Celine Dion though.
I
Yeah.
didn't even
a
know
lot of
what
people have been talking.
I don't even know what she was saying, and I was crying. Like it was so beautiful. It was her first time coming back, like
In
singing
forever.
out
See-
of retirement.
Well, she's having some major health
Stiff
problems.
persons.
She's out there.
Yeah, she has stiff person, so she lost control of her like vocal muscles.
But
So
she-
that's why her singing was like such a big deal because
she
like she was
got it
able to
back.
sustain.
It was so good,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
beautiful.
Good for her. Before we get into the rest of household headlines, we got an amazing week lined up for you. Kendall from Love Island is with us this episode, getting into all your burning questions about him and Nicole. Will they, won't they? Will they last? Will they, will not last?
What has happened?
What has happened
Love
post Love Island? A lot of speculation about that relationship. We get a lot of answers with Kendall.
He was very generous.
It was very generous. We appreciate Kendall's time. There's a lot of speculation online about the relationship of Kendall and Nicole. The entire cast of Love Island has been hanging out in LA, around LA. I think they saw him at Din Tai Fung. We told Kayla to go there. I don't know if she gave him the recommendation. We also went to Din Tai Fung this weekend. We did not see the Love Island cast.
They also are already all home.
Oh, they're all home now, so we're behind the eight ball. But not a lot of people have seen Nicole and Kendall together. Nicole seems to be hanging out with Andrea, like they all went to Universal, but like Kendall and Nicole like not hanging out together. Are they still together? What's going on? Kendall answers all those questions of why we like. Are they going to make it? He's very honest about where they stand, and we appreciate Kendall. So we get into that later this episode. Also, we have Jen Tran with us Thursday for Reality Recap, your Bachelorette. This was maybe the most wild episode of the Bachelorette. I've laughed. I laughed
Insane.
so fucking hard. It was the most ridiculous episode I've ever seen, and like this season almost seems like a parody of itself.
Oh, for sure. This
The
episode
guys are
specifically.
nuts. I cannot wait to ask Jen all of these questions because I have so many.
Yeah. So we have her this week. And then on Wednesday, in a special Going Deeper episode with your fan favorites, Janae and Kenny. What a sweet, fun couple. It's a really fun interview with them. I feel like we really got to know them, their love story, the behind the scenes. Spoiler alert, I think they have a shot.
I do too.
Yeah, I think they have a shot. They show us why, and that and so much more on Wednesday. So do not forget to check out Going Deeper this week. All right, what do we got for the rest of household headlines? What's going on, Justin?
Did you see there was a poker player who won $2.2 million on a $5 bet in Vegas? Basically,
Is he professional?
No. So he might have been, but the casino shared the news on Facebook on Wednesday, revealing that the unidentified person had a 7-card straight flush, which happens when all of the cards are the same suit in a sequential order. In this case, the player got a 7, a 9, a 10, a jack, a queen, and a king in clubs, with the joker serving as an 8. The Venetian Resort notes that the payout of $2,211,469 is the largest amount won in the Pai Gow Progressive in the casino's history, and noted that this is a 0.00139% probability
Period.
Damn.
Good
on
for
a
him.
$5 bet. $2 million.
You know his like family or wife was like, don't you fucking go there and spend all of our money. And he's like, baby, I'm just going to spend $5. Don't worry about it.
And now
And then
she's like,
he
spend it
won,
all.
And she's like, go back to Vegas,
Yeah.
babe. That's crazy.
Baby, did you watch the Disney Channel games?
Duh.
You did.
Did I live under a rock?
Well, apparently Sierra and I did.
I
We were
watched
just
it.
older.
Y'all are also, yeah. What?
It's okay. You can say it.
Nick Jonas said it was like Love Island on crack.
I absolutely believe that.
You think so?
Oh my God, you don't?
At first, explain to the audience and Nick what Disney games were.
It was like all of the Disney Channel stars from like every single show would like come together and like do challenges.
It's like
Yeah.
Wipeout.
Like
Like-
the Love Island games,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
competition that they're
Sure.
now doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he
Do you think
said
they were all hooking up?
Oh my God, duh. I feel like I thought about that when it was airing. I was like, oh my God, I really hope Nick and Miley will hang out together, and I really hope Demi and like I did. Maybe I'm just.
Did Nick refer to any like flings that
I
he
think
had?
I understand it as he referred to it as like they were all friends. It was like a social experiment rather like hooking up, because he specifically said they'd bring in 100-ish Disney Channel stars from all over the world and make us compete in silly games. But when it really was like Love Island on crack. They would put a bunch of teenagers in the Disney park after hours and just say, let's see what happens. Like that to me is giving, let's just see if they date and like mess around
What do you
and
think
drama.
dating in like your teenage years is?
Were they not all like 16, 14?
Yeah, and they were all hooking up and dating and
I
dating
guess.
each
When
other.
I get what Justin's saying, I don't know if I want to like. What does that mean when
I
you're
don't-
15?
Like we know
I
they
feel
were
like,
dating.
Yeah, like making out. Like, oh, well, I like him today. Maybe I like her tomorrow. Like, who knows? But I'm like, I think that they're definitely just like having fun. Like, it's like summer camp. He's my boyfriend this week. Never mind, we just broke up. He's my boyfriend this week. Like,
But it is crazy to think, and I wouldn't be shocked, but all the crazy things that have come out with the whole like Nickelodeon special, like it is kind of fucked up to think that like a bunch of potential producers threw a bunch of like teenagers into a room and being like, let's see what happens, hoping that they would like hook up and get physical. It's kind of
I don't think
Weird.
on
that,
cam.
yeah, I was about to say none of that was like aired.
No,
like, they didn't like
no
show.
doubt,
Yeah.
We're
I'm
just saying,
saying,
like,
but
what teenage kids are going to do. It's like these kids don't go to high school. They're on the Disney Channel. So I'm like, you put them at summer camp where they're getting paid to, like, play games all day. What are they doing at night?
that's what I'm saying. But the equivalent is like a bunch of teachers being like, let's get these high schooler kids in a room and see what happens. You know, like,
Definitely
yeah, I mean,
creepy,
teenagers are going to teenager, but like you're trying to.
I don't think it's as nefarious as that. My point being is that if you put a bunch of teenagers on a summer camp or whatever, they're
Sure.
going to do whatever they're going to do at night. I don't think it's like parents being like, oh, let's send our kids. And then hopefully they all hook up with each other. I'm just saying kids are going to do what kids are going to do. And these are all famous kids that don't go to high school, that this is like the most camaraderie. I think it's like the camaraderie of being in like around people that have similar backgrounds and they're like, you understand me.
Well, because Love Island's about dating, not sex, right? So if
Yeah.
he's comparing it to Love Island, it's like they're just all dating each other.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think he meant sex.
I will say, Allie and AJ, when they came on the show, they said that it was more like everybody's just dating each other.
Yeah.
So that's what she explained the whole like fraternity of it as.
I don't think it's a bunch of like kids fucking. I think it's a bunch of kids being like, ooh.
They were
ha,
also in the Disney park. So like, where are they?
But I don't mean
from?
they're.
ha. Somebody touched a boob for sure. That's,
For
that's-
sure.
That's where I'm going with it.
In the teacups. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds claims he would rather watch 24 hours of Paw Patrol marathon than watch The Green Lantern.
He really hates that movie.
He hates
It's
it.
like
Why do you
Ryan
think
met
he
his
hates it?
It really did poorly.
It did
wasn't- It did
poorly.
not do well.
I liked it though.
It wasn't that bad. I saw it in the theaters in my for a work training in Knoxville, Tennessee.
They required you to go see
see
that
Green
movie?
Lantern?
No, I mean I was there for a week. It was for a med device job, and I was in Knoxville training
You had
for
a
a
free
week.
week. You had a free night.
day. I had a free day. I went to the movie theaters. I saw back-to-back movies, a little doubleheader.
And Green Lantern was one of them.
Green Lantern was one of them.
And you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I thought it was not the best one. Yeah, it's not his best work for sure. But he met his wife there. He looked hot.
Yeah.
Good
so
line
why,
called
yeah.
"Water in the Tap."
So why would he hate it if that's like the start of like him and his wife?
I think
you
he
know?
likes
It
to
would be
make
so-
fun of it because
Yeah.
it did so poorly, and it was before he really like came out and became like Ryan Reynolds a superstar in
Mhm.
in Deadpool and things like that.
Yeah. I am curious though, is there a show that like River watches that you guys are obsessed with?
River does not look. She doesn't we don't do any screen time with her.
Cocomelon? You too?
Nothing. No.
Is
Maybe
there
eventually, but we just haven't been in a place where we like need to turn to a screen to
Which is
like
good.
entertain her.
is there music that she likes?
Classical music. We play that at nighttime. She likes when I sing and perform.
Oh, so you are the TV.
Yes, I am the TV.
Got it.
She was
Okay.
performing all night last night. None of us slept. She was on one. She was like, "What are you doing?" And it's time to play. And it was 3 a.m. and it was definitely not time to play.
Got it.
Yeah. So she was crazy. She was on one. But what are you gonna do?
Ariana Madix and Katie Maloney facing more criticism about some of her hair. What is going on with some about her? Why are people coming after these ladies so much?
Well, now they're coming after her because there was a job listing for one of their team members. And basically, it was listed as $21 per hour. The prep team position would receive paid training and an employee discount. And then the employee would be expected to work part-time between 15 to 30 hours per week, Monday through Friday.
What's
So
wrong?
people are saying that like $21 in LA is nothing. Because this is like a high stakes restaurant of like it's always busy and like it's only part time.
What do you mean it's high stakes?
Well, that's what the people are saying. But high stakes in the sense of like it's constantly busy. There's always lines outside. Like there's celebrities that come in with like photo ops. So it's like you're not just there working like a mundane job in a sense. Like you're there
Right,
like
so because celebrities come, it's high stakes?
or just like it's busy.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's busy.
Yeah. Well,
And I
then,
think it's a very small, it's very small sandwich shop. So I guess like
How much do they think they should
there's
make?
small-
I don't know. But I mean, someone came out and said that they live next to a sandwich shop in Ohio that was offering $24 per hour. So they're saying like Ohio $24 compared to LA busy restaurant 21 is like nothing.
How long have they worked at the sandwich shop for $24 an hour?
Good point.
I don't know. I mean, it just
I'm also like California minimum wage
What
is what, $16
is it?
an hour in 2024. So
I don't think $21 an hour is bad, is
No,
it? For a sandwich?
I don't
for
think
a-
so.
For a sandwich shop job?
I would assume also that like fans are the ones applying for the job. So am I wrong to think like you also get the
The perks?
of just working out something about her?
Yeah. Who recently came in with his wife?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Mhm.
And his wife came in. You get to meet Seth Rogen.
Well, I was like
Plus, get $21 an hour.
I was like, your issue isn't with the sandwich shop. Your issue is with minimum wage in general.
Right.
So I'm like, if
Yeah.
the minimum wage is 16 and they're offering 21, then they're doing better than.
No, please, let's expect Ariana and Katie to solve the minimum wage
You-
problem in California.
Like, or cost of living problem in California, inflation issues of California. That's different. Summer is here and we're ready to look and feel confident inside and out. I know confidence is hard to gain, and I've had my fair share of insecure moments.
One of the biggest things that can lead to lack of self-confidence in your skin, acne breakouts, rosacea, wrinkles, these all can take a toll on your confidence levels, and that's why we're excited to partner with Apostrophe, the sponsor of this episode.
Summer is just around the corner, and with the warm weather approaching, you want to be set. Well, Apostrophe is here to help you get your skin glowing in time for summer.
Apostrophe Goals is to help you feel confident in your own skin, whether you're dealing with breakouts, signs of aging, or acne. Apostrophe will help you love the skin you're in.
Apostrophe is an online platform that connects you with an expert dermatology team to get customized acne treatments for your unique skin. Through Apostrophe, you can get access to oral and topical medications that use clinically proven ingredients to help clear acne.
All you have to do is fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history, then snap a few selfies, and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you. The process is really easy. Just identify your skin goals, fill out the consultation, take some photos, and you're on your way to getting access to treatment.
They've really got you covered. Apostrophe offers access to prescription treatments for all types of acne, from hormonal acne to facial acne and even back, chest, and butt acne. Treat breakouts from head to toe.
Apostrophe has been helping several members of the household improve their skin, and you can be one of those people as well. We have a special deal for our audience. Get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/VIALL. When you use our code VIALL, that's a savings of $15. This code is only available for our listeners. To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/VIALL. Click to get started, then use our code VIALL at sign up. Then use our code VIALL at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Thank you, Apostrophe, for sponsoring this episode.
There's a lot of decisions you have to make when you have a baby, and the one that I feel the most comfortable and safe making is using Huggies for our daughter, River. I always tell Nick that when River's crying, she's trying to tell us something, and that's the case with most babies. They express it through cries, and so we've turned to Huggies. The new Huggies Skin Essentials are here. A brand new dermatologist-approved line of diapers, wipes, and pull-ups training pants that are all designed with baby's sensitive skin in mind.
Their wipes are so thick and pH balanced to help maintain healthy skin. Their wipes have 0 harsh ingredients for a great, gentle clean.
The Skin Essential Diapers features the Skin Protect Liner, which is what helps take care of the ick and stick that can cause rash. They have this liner built in their diapers.
The whole diaper helps protect against the top 2 causes of rash by managing moisture and running mess. The liner gives you the barrier to help absorb moisture and lock away runny mess from baby skin. Pull-Up Skin Essentials has your big kid covered too with a training pant that is ultra soft and breathable to help protect sensitive skin through potty training. Learn more at Huggies.com.
Once again, head to Huggies.com to learn more.
All right, we need to talk about maybe the most fun, ridiculous episode of The Bachelorette of all time. What What is going on this season?
You said it right that this episode is a spoof.
It is.
Like if you didn't watch episode 1 or 2 or 3 and then saw 4, you would think 4 was the characters, but they're not the same people.
It's unbelievable.
Like Sam N specifically.
All of them. Well, all the Sams.
Yes.
The two Sams are unhinged.
Why did it take so long for Jesse Palmer to reveal he's the reason you can't eat on one-on-ones?
That I did not know that.
But hasn't he been hosting for a few years now? Like, why?
And I've never seen him eat food.
No, but why didn't he come out and say that sooner? Why now? Why did we feel like now is the time to share it with the audience?
I know a lot about what goes on in that universe. I did not know that Jesse Palmer was the reason. I just thought they just always did it that way and they didn't want to hear people chewing. But turns out,
And they rolled the footage and it was valid.
And Jesse always had food in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She took Sam M on the date. And I do feel like he did not watch any previous episode of What to Do When Bachelorette is Scared. He didn't watch that episode. He skipped that one. It was absolutely bizarre.
Oh my God. It took him 5 business days
5 business
to like
days.
understand that he needs to just support.
Oh, it was crazy.
He's like, well, if you're not going to do it now, I guess I'll hold you and just say it's okay after I completely shamed her and basically called her a pussy.
He's like, after she's shaking from head to toe, sobbing, crying, like, oh, fine, I guess I'll get off the side of this building and give her a hug.
Because he was also smiling. He's like,
it
no,
was
we're doing
bizarre.
it. And then smiling at her. Like, you're going to do it.
It was crazy.
I'm all for challenging your partner, but it's kind of like, you're going to do this.
Yeah.
We're going to do this. You're going to remember in the future. Not like, hey, babe, like, what if we just like did it together and encourage, not like tell her what she's going to do and then why she's doing it and call that being supportive.
Also, challenge me to like try a new food, not jump off a fucking building. What? Sorry, I don't want to do that. And like his response was actually fucking crazy. I think the difference, we obviously saw her so scared with Marcus and to the skydiving, and he handled that so well. So like the contrast.
Is there a world where Jen wasn't as scared as she let on and just was testing Sam to see how he would react in handling her fears? Only because she seemed really terrified walking and then was like, fuck it, I'll jump. And was like totally fine afterwards. And then I forgot that she did go skydiving. And however, I will agree with Jen that skydiving is not what you think if you've never done it. And like standing over like dead air,
with
like
one string,
hundreds of feet in the sky actually is scarier.
I mean, I think it's different because she got support from him before she jumped off the building. So I think when she was just standing above it, she was freaking out because she was like, I like physically can't think, and he's just laughing at me.
But I do think it's also like a good test, and I do think it's why they do these dates is to like see, and so when she's not getting the response, she's like, how fucking long is it going to take this guy? Let's just like see.
No, he was just like sitting there.
It was
like,
bizarre.
Waiting for her to be okay. And then he like, it's like someone had to tell him to be supportive.
And then he goes, I could see from the look in her eye that she was terrified. I was like, how long did it take you to look in her eyes? How long?
You couldn't see when she was like, no, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I just don't want to do this. You didn't believe her then? It's weird.
In his defense, she was very proud when she like jumped off. So like it worked out in the end, but like the journey there was not eating.
But he didn't know what the end would be like.
No.
What if she got to the bottom and she was like, I fucking hated that. I wish I wouldn't have done it. Then he would have been like, oh, thought.
Yeah.
He would just sit there smiling.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Do you think that Jen let him off too easy?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. I wish she would have been like, I didn't appreciate you not like, and I am going to ask her about that. I'm going to be like, what was going on there, babe?
Yeah, I really want to know from Jen, like mid-season, like, is he as awful as he appears to be? It seems like his family and him are trying to defend his edit, if you will. He comes across as quite the meathead.
Does the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Has a couple catchphrases.
Which his Thomas seems to
have taken, and it came off so unnatural. What does it? Keep the main thing the main thing.
Was he not literally quoting Sam M? Like they've been
was.
hanging out too fucking much, and he's like, no, I know this line. Let me use this line. He was also hammered. Did you see when Sam came in to interrupt and Thomas left?
Almost fell over.
Yeah.
He was hammered? I didn't notice
Oh
that.
my God. Yeah, roll the tape. Like he's walking through the doorway and like stumbles and almost falls over. He was so hammered.
I thought he was just stunned by like the experience.
It was Sam N is brutal. It's so bad.
He-
Who the fuck is this guy?
He
Where
woke
did
up
they
and
find
chose
him?
violence.
Yeah.
The flipping of the jersey over his shoulder and carrying the trophy was gnarly.
I saw it coming that she was going to send him home, even with the whole, hey, Jen, look at the back of my jersey. And she was like, okay.
I have a little sympathy for Sam N because I
Tell
feel
us.
like he just doesn't know. I mean, his behavior was unhinged.
Unhinged.
And truly unbelievable. There are not producer plans. I don't think. I know there are not producer plans. But for all the fans who love to speculate every season about the outrageousness of some of its cast members, like Sam N felt like he's this guy. How do they find this guy? But he does seem to be truly like inexperienced, and he just takes himself way too fucking serious.
Oh my God,
I mean, oh
way.
my God, everything is just
Way too wound up.
yeah. He thinks this is all real. And no
like,
part of it is
first-
a TV show.
First, you're falling in love with her, and then you're Jen's husband on the back of your shirt, and you give her the Sam's wife jersey, and then you're like, I'm gonna go in for a kiss, and she is like, I am going to have to let you go.
I don't think Sam N knows what
Humbled.
manifesting means
No.
because he kept pointing to the back of the jersey that said Jen's husband. He's like, see, I manifested it. See, I manifested, as if like putting Jen's husband on the back of his jersey was the reason why they won. And it's just like, wait, I thought you're trying to manifest yourself being Jen's husband. And I'm like, you're not Jen's husband yet. But he kept saying to Jen, see, I manifested it. I manifested it. I'm thinking, what did you manifest? Other than you just weirding her out.
He accepted the win before he even won.
I
Yeah.
will say, when all the guys are sitting at the cocktail party and they decide to, confront Sam, Jonathan ate.
Oh, I love him.
Jonathan
He's
ate
moving up
down.
in my book.
No, he's my number one. He ate. He absolutely demolished Sam. Like the way he goes about it versus Thomas. If Thomas one more time, gotta talk to you. Like, what are you doing?
That's how bad. That's how
Justin's
bad
like, "Ow."
Thomas was, because even though Jonathan ate Sam N ate Thomas. I've never seen someone look so bad like Sam N did, and so unhinged. And yet, when Thomas walked up to him, I kind of agreed with Sam N, which is like, why are you so upset? And he complimented him and he told him to calm down. And as crazy as Sam N was, Thomas was even more unhinged. Because like Thomas, it's just like, why are you here?
Why are you here?
He was like, go talk to Jen. Like, at least leave me alone.
yeah.
I mean, like, the problem with Sam N wasn't like how he was going, like the fact that he wanted to go talk to Jen, pull her first. I don't give a fuck about that. It's just like, why are you weirdly rubbing it in all these guys' faces? You have no connection with her, and you're acting as if like you're telling all these, you're just rubbing it in their face. That was the problem with what he was doing. It wasn't that he was being like assertive at this time. He just wouldn't shut up about it. And he's like coaching these guys. The guy with absolutely no dating experience and no riz is like telling these guys like how to act around Jen, which is like the lack of self-awareness is unbelievable.
The way, as soon as she sat down, and Sam is like,
him not letting the guy sit down so that she sits down next to him.
no, the
he
way he
grabs
grabbed
her
her hand
hand.
and then immediately stood, like you could tell. It was like, first of all, you were like, does he just want to hold her hand while she like cheers
No,
it?
he
Like,
wanted
what
to
the fuck is
kidnap
going
her.
on?
No.
But then, yeah, he like gets her, and she was like, okay, sure. She's like,
He wraps his finger around her
Scary.
hand, squeezes her hand, and then says,
It is scary.
"Can I pull you first?" After
Yeah.
he's basically pulling her away.
It's weird because we saw the episodes before this where he was like shy
Mhm.
or like nervous, the like virgin love, whatever it is. And then he came this episode like dog man.
He
Like,
shotgunned like 5 Red Bulls before the rugby game.
so everybody is like, who is this?
Yeah.
I will say I did talk to my roommate and she said that in Persian culture, it's really common for like people to fall fast. So like Sam Man, he said like his culture, Persian, like that was the big thing.
but he's never been in love.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
how has he never fallen fast before?
Well, that's the thing. Like you wait for the one person. When you think it's that one
Oh.
person, you like dive deep.
Oh.
Like really fast.
That's why I have empathy for Sam N, just because I know he doesn't know better, and he's gonna, he obviously is gonna get a ton of criticism after this episode, and I just know there were people in his ear egging him on
Mhm.
and making him feel like all these decisions were the right moves. Sam N was led astray, and I don't feel like Sam N knows enough about like, I guess, dating and just women in general to like know this is unhinged behavior, where some of these other guys like Sam M has no excuse for why he's such a douchebag.
Oh, as soon as Thomas went to go sit down with Jen, producers were like, Sam, why don't you interrupt. That
2
could be
minutes
fun.
in.
Imagine what. Maybe you should just go say hi.
No, what was probably said is, I think she really needs you right now. I don't think she likes Thomas, and I think you should go and save her. It was probably more like that because like Sam N had this like idea that he was truly a knight in shining armor.
Mm-hmm.
And every time Sam N talked to Jen, he was told, that went so well. That was amazing. You crushed it. Wow. She is feeling you so fucking hard. Like these guys have no idea what they're doing. And like he was led astray the whole time.
100%.
And I just don't think he knows enough. I don't think he knows better.
I have a question for you. As like the Bachelor or Bachelorette, when somebody comes up and like they're in the middle of a conversation and how Sam N was like, or Thomas was like, can you just give us 5 minutes? And he was like, nope. Like, are you allowed to step in? Or if you like wanted to continue the conversation, like, can you tell them, can you give us 5 minutes? Or I just feel like I haven't seen that be done.
Generally speaking, I mean, if you can tell that Jen just doesn't care about either of these guys, Thomas and Sam. And like generally speaking, the lead is just never gonna like, they're not there to play referee. They're there to like not stop drama from happening.
Right.
So short of if Jen really cared about any of these guys and really wanted to finish the conversation, she at any point could be like, no, I want to finish this conversation.
Okay.
But she doesn't really give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't care. Honestly, she's probably more confused about who's giving her the biggest ick. Like between Sam N and Thomas, she's just more like, who's creeping me out less? You know what I'm saying? So like she's not there to stop it.
She's like stuck in this conversation with Thomas talking about like his family origin, and then Sam N comes up and tries to interrupt, and she's like, great, the two people I care about.
I mean, think about it. Like minus her making out with Sam M all the time, right? And like we're seeing he painted in this kind of aggressive aggro light. Like what is her strongest connection? Devin? And like love Devin.
Spencer.
Okay, maybe Spencer, and then
Marcus,
I guess.
Yeah.
But like it seems potentially weak. Like there may be no real front runners. And maybe I think that's why we're seeing her ex being brought in.
You have a good point. It's like she's weeding out the icks versus finding the love.
I kind of hated them bringing her ex. Like, I kind of hated the way they set it up. It felt like they weren't protecting their Bachelorette. It felt like they were like, sit right here, face us. We're going to do some B-roll and then like set her up to be like, I just didn't like the way they went about it.
That's just kind of how.
I know, but I just feel like they should have protected their Bachelorette and been like, there's someone here. Like, at least be like, there's someone here
But
who
she
flew all the way here to see you. They want to have a conversation. Like,
she looked excited. You don't think so?
she didn't look like pissed off. She didn't look like, what the fuck? Like, why would they fucking do this?
I feel like she looked surprised.
She did. It did seem like when he was like, I love you. And she was like, Matthew, that it was like, you've never, like, why the fuck are you saying this now?
Yeah.
Like, what, it felt like a little opportunistic to me.
Yeah, it very much like reeked of Caitlin's season. I don't know, like when I showed up episode 4. Caitlin and I knew we had never met in person and we knew each other for a couple weeks. This is an actual former relationship. I think people who have known these people really in past lives, I'm very skeptical. Because like Jen said, why didn't you say any of this to me prior to? It seems like they had something going on before she went on The Bachelor. He was like, I went to these weddings by myself. I'm like, wait, what weddings? Like, what are they talking about? It seemed like he was like, you get invited to weddings certainly like months in advance sometimes, and maybe he asked her, but they seemed like there was a rekindling of some kind that seemed legit. Now, whether it was like going down a path of relationship or not, but like he doesn't seem to be completely there out of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, her response was giving, I thought we ended this. Like, that's how I took it.
I think he stays.
Because also, didn't she make a comment of like we ended it like 5 months ago before she went on The Bachelor? So she was obviously like seeking out what she couldn't find with him.
It's just like, it would be hard to really trust why you're there.
Yeah.
You know?
I also wonder why they broke up. Because that's always like a big thing for me too, where I'm like,
Well, we'll get to ask her.
yeah, oh,
Yeah. And then why did they rekindle? I think he stays.
He stays.
Do you think he's the guy who takes second? You know, remember when the season opened up and then she walked into a hotel room and she's like, I can't have you propose to me?
For sure.
I feel like.
Or maybe he's the one that gets the ring and then she can't propose to like the runner-up.
I don't think they can let her win. It's like, it's one thing to bring him into the season and have him compete and then lose, but bringing in your ex-boyfriend
To then have him win, it's like,
and then have him win, it's like, what was the point of that season?
yeah.
You know, like a lot of fans, for whatever reason, to be pissed off and be pissed off at Jen. It's like, you wasted our time. You didn't have to do that. But I think if they let him go that far to take second, then it's then it's good.
He's cute. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
feel like
Do we think he actually used his own money to fly there?
no.
No.
Like they said it 7 times, but I was like,
He paid for his own flight. He paid for his own flight.
did not fly
he
him
paid
here.
for his own
he
flight.
found the producer's numbers on his own
to fly himself.
to,
Like,
to let
They-
them know that he's going to come
They
in.
weirdly do shit like this.
Yeah.
I remember like Ray callback to like on Andy's season. I'm the runner-up. Season's over. I'm pretty fucked up in my head. It's the and I'm just like I think I've told this story before, but like they really fucked me over at the end. Like I'm thinking I need to move on. I remember the lead producer the text me. She was checking in on me. Just literally just kind of like checking in on me. How you doing? I'm like I'm fine. I'm sad, but I know I need to move on. This is like maybe like 2 weeks following the end. She's like, yeah, no, you do. And then another producer, the one who actually is one of the head producers now, was like. Called me up and man, like really made me think like she was struggling with her choice, and like doubting her choice, which like got me questioning like what's going on. I was all confused. And like they convinced me to try to fly down. This is when they first started filming Paradise. And so they're in Mexico. And so Andy had to come down and do like pickups in Mexico. And then they were going to have like their happy couple retreat with her then winner Josh at the time. So they wanted me to fly down, and I was like, I was going to do. Actually, I was planning on coming, but I still have the email I wrote the producer, and it's being like, this is like I was dead serious. I was like, listen, if I'm gonna like, this is real to me. Like, I mean, I've had real feelings, and like I'm willing to do this if this is like legitimate, but I don't want to make a fool of myself. I was like, if she's happy, but like clearly the season wasn't performing. The ratings were really down bad, and they were just trying to figure out any way to like salvage the season. Thankfully, they didn't let me come down because I was like, I'm not coming unless she knows, and they didn't want to tell her. But before it even got there, they were like, well, we want you to call Chris. I'm like, what do you mean you want to call Chris Harrison at the time, the host of the show? And I'm like, why do you want me to call Chris? And so basically they had me call Chris, and they basically staged a phone call so that when it happened, they could say without lying that I called Chris and like asked him to come down and like, fight for my relationship with Andy. But it was all a setup, so they made me get on the phone with Chris just to make sure that they had like basically like plausible deniability or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So Chris, when he went on AFR, could be like, well, Nick reached out to me and asked if I could blah, blah, blah. And like, technically that was true because technically they had me call Chris, even though
Right.
they set up the call.
That's wild.
So I don't know what
Insane.
happened here, but like, obviously he didn't know what hotel they were staying in. He didn't know where to find them for filming. So I'm sure he might've reached out to them for sure. It's just like, hey, I'm Jen's ex. First of all, like for him to join the show, there's a million things they had to do. When I showed up for Andy's season, I remember like they called me up. When I showed up for Caitlin's season, rather, they called me up and they were casting for Paradise. And Caitlin and I had been talking, and I was definitely bummed because it was that was the first time they had 2 bachelorettes. They had 2 bachelorettes, so I was like, oh, I hope they pick Britt because like Caitlin will go home and then like we can pick up where we left off in terms of like our little like FaceTime thing we had going on before the season. And then she didn't, and I was all bummed, and they called me up and said, hey, we'd love for your Paradise. And I was like, well, if Caitlin was going to go, I would go. And I was like, I remember like I wanted them to know because I was never going to ask to come on, but I kind of wanted them to ask, it was like, I didn't want to like own the decision. And then they did. But my point is, once they were like, hey, would you be interested in coming? I had to fly to LA, meet with like their therapist, take all the tests. I had to do the blood work. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't get on the show legally unless you do all the psych test and the health test and the blood work. And so like he's done all this by the time he's shown up, especially if they keep this guy. If Jen keeps this guy, which it seems like he's not showing up for a rose ceremony only to get sent home.
Right.
Like if she's sending him home, it's going to be in that conversation. She's going to show up at his hotel room. Hey, listen, I don't think it'd be fair to the other guys. We're too late in the season. I realize how I feel about you and you're not it. Like if he's like, they show him in a tuxedo or some sort of suit. So he brought a suit. Yeah. He's ready to go. He's done the tests. So like clearly, and did he fly himself out? Maybe. But did he figure out how well, you pay for it, we'll reimburse you.
Exactly.
There is clearly some kind of bullshit going on. I don't even know why they bother. It's just like, we know it's a show.
Yeah.
Like we know it's not 2012 anymore where it's like the WWF is still trying to convince you that it's like real wrestling. Like we know it's a show.
It's doing too much. Like
Yeah.
the second they disclaim it the 7th time, we know it's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like now it's over real.
He's like, Jen, thank God you didn't end our sharing your location with me, or else I would never have been able to find you in this great continent of Australia.
Yeah. They did do him dirty though, where he got just like straight from the airport and they're like, okay, now go over there.
I doubt it. I feel like they just were like, here's your
No,
grab your suitcases.
No, I bet that happened.
You think
that
they
way.
went straight from the airport?
Yeah, I think he went
He
straight
looked-
from the airport.
He looked a little run down.
I think Jesse was
a little
waiting
bit.
from. Yeah, no, that part was legit.
Oh man, I would just assume that they would use it as like props. Like bring your bags down and now we're gonna film you surprising Jen.
No, they probably.
Well, they mic'd him up, so yeah. To a
Yeah, they
degree.
probably picked him up at the airport, right? They brought, I don't know how long the ride from the airport to the hotel they were staying. They probably got him close to the hotel, and then they probably parked somewhere, and then probably the producers went and greeted him and thanked him for coming, and then he was like, I'm really nervous, and they gave him the whole like, I guess we'll see what happens, man, this is crazy. And they were like, and they probably went up to him and like, man, like I fucking like, you're doing it, man, this is great. And they really like gassed him up and like probably were just like, I love that, the same thing they wanted me to do for Andy. It's just like they were sending me like clips of movies of like really big all these like
inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
To show your conviction.
Hyping you
Yeah,
up.
like, to hype me up in terms of like, really like great rom-com scenes where the guy comes and fights for the girl and gives like this, really great speech. And then they were like sending me clips and shit like that. So they probably did some version of that, and they were hyping him up, which again, is all fine. He's still like, when I showed up for Caitlin's season, like I was genuinely serious about, doing it. And just like Jen's ex, like it would be very selfish of him to show up and been like, hey, I want you to leave with me. Of course, he's not going to take away this experience for Jen. Like this is her chance to be the Bachelorette. It would be completely self-centered. So he's definitely there to participate and do what he has to do, and see if there's something there. So I don't know why. Yeah, it seems like they go too hard to try to convince us that it's, he doesn't need to have paid for it to be sincere, like we already know that him showing up, and even if he paid for it, we're going to question why he's there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Him paying for it doesn't mean he's like all of a sudden not there for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a world in which he paid for the flight. I mean, it's entirely possible, but like they act as if like we just found out that this guy found on the internet where we were, and this is out of our control, and I guess we're just gonna let this play out. Like they were clearly involved in like facilitating the logistics of it, which I think is totally fine. There's nothing like fucked up about it. It's just like they just have to do this to make a TV show, and we know it's a TV show, so like. I mean, these guys are gonna handle it poor. I want to see her bring in this guy just because I think Sam M is going to handle it really, really poorly.
Yeah. Yeah. I also wonder, would you think it would be harder coming in, having had a real relationship on the outside world and then coming in and then competing with a bunch of guys that have like known her for 2 seconds? I feel like it would be harder for him to get acclimated into the situation because he actually knows her from the outside world and has had intimate moments with her, whereas all of these guys have known her for like 2 weeks.
What part is hard? What do you mean though?
Because the thing is that I know that the guys are going to take it hard because of that, but I feel like it's actually harder for the person who knows the Bachelorette outside of to get acclimated and be like, okay, it went from us dating one-on-one, now she's dating 12 other people.
Yeah, like to like act like he's cool to share.
Yeah, when he's had her alone to himself, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm going to compete to show you, but at the same time I'm competing with these guys that think they know you, but they don't.
Yeah, I mean I don't know how to compare that. Again, when I showed up on Caitlin's season, I still didn't know her. We had faced time for 2 weeks prior to that, so there wasn't any real rapport. It felt like there was some rapport. You felt
like you were at an advantage.
There was sure maybe a little bit, but like I didn't know her outside of that world.
Right.
I had never met her. The first time I showed up was the first time I met her in person.
That's wild.
And so to your point, like knows her intimately,
E-
like knows.
They were supposed to go to weddings together.
Yeah, they had dates planned up that she had to like bail on.
You know?
So it's going to be incredibly hard for him. Plus, all these guys are going to hate him.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know, some of the guys will pretend to hate him at first, and they'll probably be like, "Oh, give him a chance." Like you're cool, right? That's how probably most of the guys will be,
Yeah.
whether they show it or not. But then there'll be some guys who like
Sam M, Thomas.
Thomas is probably going to grab his arm.
no.
and
Man, it didn't
physically
work out
assault
for a
him.
reason. Why are you here?
Thomas is my least favorite person. on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's just overcompensating too much
Oh my god.
every second.
With nothing to back it up. Like, that's the thing. It's not like you have a strong connection with Jen. You guys have the same conversation every time you guys have a moment alone together.
You're literally stealing lines from your friend.
The main
The
thing.
main
the
thing.
main thing. What does that even mean?
It's going to keep it real. You know.
There was a photo that ABC posted where it was Austin, Aaron, and then Thomas N like working out shirtless, like behind the scenes BTS, and I was like, that makes sense. That picture alone makes sense.
Devin's one-on-one.
Sweet.
It was
And
sweet,
I was
yeah.
sweet. And I was happy for him. She seems to really like him, in my opinion.
I really like him. I just like he's not supposed to be your front runner. I'm sorry.
That's
You
fair.
didn't, no disrespect to Devin. I love you, Devin. But when you get picked to be the lead and you're thinking, they're hand picking people for me. And like I don't know. Like I just don't think you close your eyes and you think Devin.
Do you think he is the front runner? Because couldn't it be Marcus?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're bringing this guy in. And I think, yeah, we've seen some connections with Jen, but clearly I think they're struggling like with like Jen being excited about these guys.
Well, what's your opinion on her group of guys to begin with? Like, as a collective?
Not great.
Not
I mean,
great,
who do we
right?
like? Do we have any real fan favorites? I mean, Marcus seems like a nice guy. He's handsome.
It's like all the guys that I feel like I like the most, I see the least of.
That's
Yeah.
pretty typical this early on. But
Okay.
even then, because like your front runners, they'll wait. But even then, you usually they'll show your Ben Higgins, like they'll show him enough for you to start like liking them just because they're fun to look at and they seem like gentlemanly.
Yeah.
We're not seeing any of that. Or I don't really see her strongest connection is the biggest douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam.
Well, it's like Jonathan, I feel like, is a really good one. Marcus is a really good one. But like and Spencer, but we don't really see a lot of them at all.
I did do an Instagram stalking, and Devin had the most followers, and it was only 14,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's not that much.
Which tells you like Bachelor Nation is not excited about these guys.
No.
Like they're not interested in following these guys. Who could possibly be your next bachelor from this group of men?
Oh, good point.
I saw somebody say Spencer because he gives hot substitute teacher vibes.
I mean, like, I guess.
Like, he's cute, but I'm just like, it's not like, oh, no, that's for sure going to be the Bachelor. But I just thought the whole substitute teacher hot was kind of,
He does look like a substitute teacher.
right?
I see
there's,
it,
There's
yeah.
like something very
I
like
definitely see
sweet
it.
and
He's like
demure.
wholesome but cute. Wears a
Yeah.
polo shirt.
Grant, there seemed to like there was
Grant's
a
a good
connection there,
one.
but I feel like he's really like I'm not seeing a connection between the two of them. He seems like a
No.
nice, handsome guy, and he
Yeah.
got a group date rose, but not seeing it. Austin, I thought maybe he would be someone that like potentially like pops. Not seeing it.
There is a
there.
soundbite in the
Jonathan-
teaser of Austin saying it's not fair and alluding to him leaving.
Maybe.
Yeah, that could be
So.
anything though. I mean, to me right now, if I could pick anyone for Jen, it's Jonathan. I think Jonathan's my front runner. He seems like the nicest guy. I really like
Yeah.
his personality. I'm not seeing like an intense connection here. They look cute together. He seems nice. She seems nice, but like I'm not seeing anything like episode 4. Like it shouldn't be this hard to find some connections between the lead
Right.
and
Or even see the
suitor.
competition. You know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, it's got these people might be the top 4. And it's like, we're just going off a top 4 based off of what we think, but not so much the connection between them and Jen.
Who would you choose as the next Bachelor?
I don't think they have. It's a weak lineup.
What if it was Salmon, the Love Virgin?
It would never be. That'd be wild.
It would spice it up.
No one would watch.
Like, just grab a whole bunch of Love Virgins.
You can't have a bachelor that gives everyone the ick.
Yeah.
It would probably have to be Marcus. In my opinion, I feel like Jonathan is who I want to win. And then I feel like Marcus, because he's like, an
I
expat.
think Marcus is honestly the only one who could be at this point. Yeah, he's got a compelling storyline, a veteran.
He's very kind, compassionate. He has great
Handsome.
qualities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, could get girls to jump out of planes with him. Like, you know.
It could be Sam M though.
But
and like people love the douchebag, the playboy.
No. He's so unlikable at this point that
Okay.
I'm just like, I don't see like women of America standing behind Sam M.
And they're like, so when granted, he seemed like a douchebag with Jen, right?
Mhm.
Like he wasn't getting the hint, but you could also tell in there that they were playing it up in the edit. There was that moment where he like snicker laughed, and I'm like, without confirming and rewinding and double checking, I'm like 95% sure that they just used the same laugh
from somewhere else.
literally from
just the
moments
same-
earlier.
Yeah.
And they just played it twice. And I think when they do that, you could debate whether, like, you know, if you're Sam N, you notice that and you're like, see, I didn't fucking do that. That's bullshit. I was edited to make it look like that. And that might be true. However, as we also know, that like they're taking, which is always like whatever amount of time. If it took 10 minutes to go down, you get to see 20 seconds or
Right.
10 seconds, right? Like you never get to see the whole thing.
Mhm.
The show is going to make the excuse when they do an edit like that is like, yeah, it's edited, but like for the sake of time, we are trying to, you know, capture that moment of what it really is, what it was really like for those 10 minutes condensed into like 15 seconds.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it edited? Sure. But like all the producers will probably be like, well, it was actually worse when it was all going
Exactly,
down,
yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
in terms of his inability to like rise to the moment, to like be there for Jen, to make her feel safe and comfortable, as opposed to like making her feel like she was just being weak. You know, that's what he did. It was so like odd, you know, it's just like it's not about pushing your partner,
Yeah.
but how do you push your partner? Do you make them feel bad about being afraid? Do you make them feel weak for not wanting to do that? Or do you encourage them and make them believe in themselves? And do you like encourage them to find the strength, and without simultaneously making them feel like if they don't, they're going to be somehow, you know, be judged for it? That's how like, he made it seem like, if you don't do this, I'm going to judge you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to think less of you, and you're not going to be the partner for me. Like, that's not encouragement. He's playing off of her fears and insecurities. And that's not like a partner. That's a dick.
There you go.
Amen.
It also was clearly edited to make him look worse. But the question is, did he actually look worse? Or were they just trying to capture the authenticity of that moment where they couldn't show the whole thing?
Yeah, that blew my mind too, because I was like, I didn't even think about the idea of how long they were actually up there. Because usually when you're struggling with like heights and things like that, it takes a while to get to the point to where you're like, okay, I can do this. I wonder how long they were actually up there versus like what we saw, you know?
I do think Jen's testing these guys, though.
As she should
I think
be.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that she's weeding out the icks versus like finding the love.
But if she doesn't, do you think she ends up alone? I will say this: they've given her the lane to end up alone. It's not a great group of men.
Yeah, that I'll agree with. I'm just hoping we'll get to see some more of the quieter personalities come out, a little more airtime for our
Mhm.
Spencers and Jonathans.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about these group of guys just being like. That's what I'm saying. This season just seems like it's a character, like it's a spoof of The Bachelorette,
Right.
which is funny and hilarious, but it almost seems disingenuous and fake. I think they've done a disservice to Jen because they haven't casted enough men, or any men, that she's sincerely interested in getting engaged to in less than 2 months.
Mhm.
And so then here you have Jen. I think when you do that, you force your lead to play a role rather than be themselves. And if anyone's questioning Jen's authenticity, not that we are, but I think she's just not engaged in these guys. I don't think her heart's beating out of her chest for any of these guys. Maybe Sam M for a moment, but like I think she's already starting to realize that like it's been pretty already. This is 2 weeks in a row where he's been very kind of aggressive with what he claims as support,
Mm-hmm.
or just like making out with her. Like last week, it was like throwing himself all over her and not reading the room. Like he's 2 weeks in a row. She's just like, hey, I'm trying to give you signals and you're not picking up on them.
Yeah.
So like,
Rewind.
if this is like this, Jen seems like a very self-aware like person, and I think she's picking up on the fact that despite enjoying making out with Sam, he's not her guy.
Hmm.
But I think she's also like limited in her options of who she really likes. So I think in fairness of like why I think we are upset with Jen for like letting him off the hook easily. But if you're her, like it sucks being in this environment and feeling like the casting department didn't like really give a shit about who you're interested in, as opposed to what they think the show would be interested in. And this has nothing to do with like the quality of these people, of who they are. Just like on my season, I was just like, you guys didn't give a shit about me at all. Like, and again, quality women, just maybe not quality for me, you know, or just not for me. And it's just like, I just feel like these guys are not for Jen. And clearly we know this, right? They weren't casting for her. They were casting for either Daisy or Maria. Honestly, I don't think they cast for the lead much at all, but they clearly weren't casting for Jen.
I forgot about that.
And the fact that like now she's like has a bunch of guys that she's like, I don't think I could picture any of these men being my fiance. It's hard for her to be like locked in and invested, you know?
Which
so
we
now
don't
she's going to
know.
be playing a role.
Like we don't know that she doesn't have like.
We don't,
Yeah.
but it's not a coincidence that they brought in this guy.
You do have a good point though too, that every second she's sitting down with someone's interrupting, and there's like fighting in the background. So it's like she doesn't even have a chance to like.
I mean, that's pretty typical early on, but like I just think this early on, you at least have seen a couple moments with some front runners and being like, yeah, they haven't gotten to them yet because like they're just going to focus on the petty drama early on, but like there's something there. And I think we're pulling at strings being like, I think there's something there with Marcus or like Spencer. Like why? Because he had a one-on-one, but like,
That's literally why.
Yeah.
you know,
And a good story.
I barely know any of these guys and there's not a ton of guys left.
Yeah.
Oh, this is, yeah.
I do think she likes Marcus though.
I think she likes Marcus,
Yeah.
sure.
I think that's a genuine connection. Because Marcus also isn't doing too much.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys aren't really doing too much, though.
I don't
And
know.
that's kind of the problem.
Well, we get to ask Jen all these questions on Thursday of Reality Recap. Is it time to get to Kendall?
I think it's time to get to Kendall.
All right. Well, it's time for Kendall. Whatever you thought you knew about Nicole and Kendall, just you wait. Ladies, like I've always said on this show before, you know your man could always up his grooming game. And that's where Cremo's Men's Body Wash can help. Nothing pairs with a shower better than Cremo's Body Wash. Cremo combines a rich, lathering, and hydrating formula with meticulously balanced, multi-layered fragrances for a superior shower experience. Cremo's Men's Body Wash makes a regular shower feel like a scented sensation. Their bourbon vanilla body wash invigorates the senses with bold distiller spices, perfectly balanced with notes of rich Madagascar vanilla and aged oak to create a shower experience that meets even the highest of standards. I don't know how much your man will care about that, but I do tell you it smells great. He'll like it. I know he'll love it. Cremo works with master perfumers to make sure that every Cremo body wash scent is meticulously blended and refined, and their hard work definitely shows. After every wash, get your man smelling like a high-end cologne.
So what makes Cremo different from other body washes for men? Cremo has unique layered scents that actually evolve as you wash, getting you clean and making you smell fantastic all at once.
Cremo also offers a wide range of other grooming products for men, including a shave cream, beard oil, and shampoo, all in a variety of distinct scents. Listen, all I know is Cremo's body wash is awesome. It smells great. The men in your life will love it. And if your guy doesn't have his own body wash, it's time to up his game with Cremo, because I promise you he will love it and then obviously stop using yours, which is what we really all want.
They also have amazing grooming products for women, including shave cream, razors, and hydration mist, all in a variety of unforgettably dreamy fragrances.
You can find Cremo's Men's Body Wash in its new distinctive bourbon vanilla scent at Walmart or Walmart.com. Once again, that's at Walmart or Walmart.com. Symbiotica is a supplement brand that we love.
I started taking Symbiotica because with really busy days, I started feeling like I was having less energy and not getting the best sleep. Since taking their products, I've noticed more energy to get me through those long days and having deeper sleep.
They are formulated with the highest quality ingredients out there. Symbiotica is transparent about how and where they source ingredients to ensure you get the best products possible. Their formulas don't have any seed oils, preservatives, toxins, artificial additives, or alleged natural flavors.
Unlike other supplements that can taste chalky, Symbiotica features supplements that taste delicious. From the citrus vanilla taste of their vitamin C to their vanilla cream flavor of magnesium L-threonate, you can get great taste across the Symbiotica's offerings.
What I love most about Symbiotica is that they truly have many different options and offerings for all your supplement needs.
One of my favorite things starting the day at the Viall Files is me and one of the editors, Mary. We love to do a combined shot of the vitamin C. We cheers and then make sure that we get all the supplements that we need. It tastes delicious straight out of the pouch. Also getting all of my green needs in by making sure that I take my super greens on a daily basis. And as I said, these both taste delicious straight out of the pouch.
Feel more energized, alert, and balanced with high-quality supplements that work. Head over to Symbiotica.com and use code VIALL for 20% off, plus free shipping on your subscription order. Kendall, welcome, man.
What up, man?
How's
How we
it going?
doing? Oh, dude, life is good, bro. Life is good. Life is insane.
Yes. We've talked to a few of your peers. I've said to all of them, fascinated by the experience you guys went through. You guys are decompressing still,
Yes.
and it almost feels like you still like. Have you watched? Was that an earthquake?
I just felt that.
I don't know. It might have been a truck in the alley. I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
also that also might have been a truck of the alley. Sometimes if this building shakes a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never felt an earthquake in like years since I was back in California. I was for sure an earthquake, y'all.
Something rattled for sure.
So wait, what did you say again?
You guys are still like it
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like you
yeah.
guys, the theme, whether it's Cordell and Serena, whether it was Kaylor, whether it was we have Kenny and Janae on tomorrow. Everyone's just like, yeah, I don't know nothing about nothing yet because I just like got the fuck out of the villa. So like,
So true.
where are you in your like decompressing journey?
The decompressing journey, I mean, I feel like it's just begun. I mean, it's so much coming out of the villa and seeing everyone's opinions and how big the show was. I remember when they first told us, it's like, hey guys, like before you guys get out, just quick heads up. So the show is huge. And we're like, okay, all right. I'm glad it did well. They're like, no, it is huge. Like #1 show. And we're like, well, #1? What, like on Peacock? They're like, no, like the #1 show. So like prepare yourselves. And I think all of us in that moment were just like taken aback, just so surprised because when you're living in it, it doesn't even feel like a show. Like honestly, for me, it didn't feel like a show. So when we come out and we hear that it's #1 and everyone's talking about us, it's just so much to take in. And that's why I think a lot of us are still in that mode of, yeah, it just doesn't feel real yet.
What's been the hardest part for you to kind of simulate back into society?
Oh my gosh, the hardest part. I think just like the little things, having my phone and having it consistently like ding, 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 like like every 5 seconds is different. And I feel like just getting back to everyone, like really knowing who was close to you, like before this. And because there's always those people out of the woodwork. It's like, Kendall, my guy, you remember like 8th grade lunch line? I'm like, no, like I don't. But I feel like just the little things of just how my normal routine was before compared to what my life is now. So just trying to like have a healthy balance of both.
What was your life before?
I mean, I'm very routine, and my life before this was like 85% work, 15% play.
What was work? Or what is work?
Medical sales.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm in medical device sales, and I travel a lot for work.
And do you implants? Do you do orthopedics? Like what do you
So
do?
I sell a device to ocular care.
Okay.
So it's ophthalmologist, optometrist, so like my main doctors that I talk to. So having that day to day where I'm consistently traveling, like in meetings every single day and pretty much focusing a lot on work. But then obviously on the weekends, it's just completely different. Like when I'm back in Dallas, I like to have fun. I like to be with my family, my friends. So that was consistently what my life looked like. So coming back to this where it's just like everyone's eyes are on you, like there is no routine. Like my routine is just like I don't even know when I'm flying back to Dallas. Like I have no flight back. I'm just here in LA. Just all right. Well, whenever I want to go back, I'll come back because I have so many things to do. And I'm glad that I have like my sister and my mom are out in LA right now. So
they are?
That's my
Nice.
next priority. My sister lives in LA. My mom lives in Vegas currently with my grandpa taking care of him. But she's moving to California back already. Like she's gonna be near like Newport Beach.
How'd you end
Nice.
up in Dallas?
I got there for work,
Okay.
like right out of school. I went to school at TCU in
Oh,
Fort
sure.
Worth.
Okay, yeah.
And I got a job opportunity for the Dallas Stars, the hockey team. And I took that right out of college. So I worked in sports for the first like 5 years, and then I switched to medical sales like just recently, like a little over a year ago.
Okay.
But
you're
I
like-
love Dallas.
You're doing like ad sales for them?
So for the Stars,
Yeah.
I started off selling like season tickets, and I would sell like suites, and then I started doing sponsorships for the Stars recently, and then I just transitioned out of it. But I loved working for that team. I mean, like my degree in college was sports broadcasting. I wanted to be a broadcaster, but I wanted to always be in sports. So when that broadcasting dream died, because they're like, hey, you can do that out of college, but you'll probably have to start in like Amarillo, Texas. I was like, like with like tumbleweed rolling around. They're like, yeah. I was like, I don't know about that. And then the Stars were like, hey, you have a great personality, but like we think you'd be better in sales. So I was like, I never thought about sales, but I was like, why not? So I tried it, never looked back. Been in sales ever since.
How did you end up on the show? Did you get reached out to, or did you like Kayla seemed like Kayla was the only one who was like, hey, can I come on?
Oh, she applied?
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah. I don't even know. Yes. So my coworkers actually applied for me about 2 years ago. And it was funny because I was actually going to be on last season.
Really?
Like last season. But things came up with work and I transitioned to medical sales. So it was either like this job in medical sales or Love Island. And I was like, hey, I want to focus on my career. So I chose that. It was funny. Even the Bachelorette, that was something. I think I was for charity season.
You were talking to the Bachelorette?
Yeah. Like I was about to
How far did you go during that process?
Both at the same time offered me. It was like the same week.
You turned it down?
Yeah.
Wow, you just didn't like charity, or what's up?
No, I didn't even know it was going to be charity. It was both at the same time, and this was when I was making that transition for work, and I was like, reality TV or work. So I chose work, and everyone was like, Kendall, you're crazy. How could you turn down Love Island? How could you turn down The Bachelorette? I was just like, hey, I want to focus on my job, and I'm glad I did, because then Love Island reached out again and was like, hey, still there? And I was like, oh, I'm in a better spot with work.
Babe, the Bachelorette asked him to come on charity season.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. I was feeding River. So very sorry.
Priorities.
But I'm back.
Good to have you here.
Yeah. I'm glad she's fed for sure.
Okay, now this couch is filled. I was like, this one man on this big couch.
Did the Bachelorette door close? Because I'll be honest, we're watching this season, and like so far, we don't really love the guys on it. I feel like they could maybe need a Kendall or something. I forgot. What made you, when you decided to say fuck medical? I'm just kidding. Fuck work. No, but when you decided to take a chance at reality TV, was the Bachelorette still an option, or were you just like, I want to do Love Island?
So
because it really worked out for you.
It did work out. Because when I was offered both 2 years ago, I was leaning towards Love Island. Because it seemed more me, and at that point, it felt like I could be more myself, and it didn't seem as scripted as some of the Bachelor shows I've seen.
Did the same friends sign you up for the Bachelorette?
Yes. Okay. They signed me up for everything.
They really
Kendall needs a partner.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was getting,
bro needs a girl.
Someone please get Kendall a lady in his life. He needs it bad. No, but The Circle, they were trying to get me on there too. All these shows, my friends were just sending my applications everywhere. I was like, guys, stop sending me everywhere. Kendall, you're boarding me on reality TV. I was like,
man.
Stop. I know. But since I decided last year, when it was okay, I'm in such a better spot with work, my friends were telling me, oh my gosh, it was actually funny, because when they reached out again, Love Island for this year, I said no again. I was like, no, I don't want to waste y'all's time, because last time I went through the whole process, and I was like, nah. And so I was like, hey, let's not go down that road. I'll pass. And it was funny. I was eating sushi with my friends, and I just mentioned briefly, I was like, yeah, it's crazy. Love Island reached out again, but I told them I'm going to focus on my job. They're like, Kendall, wake up, stop doing this. I was like, hey, I don't know. And they're like, hey, life's all about risk, and you don't want to look back and regret missing out. And you don't want to be 45 years old and be like, wow, wonder if I went on Love Island, what would my life be like? And so I didn't want to have that conversation with myself at 45. So I was like, you know what? Damn, fuck it. And then I legit remember, I looked back to one of my producers that texted me way back. And it was funny. The last text I sent him was, hey, don't want to waste your time. And I was like, offer still on the table. And I sent it after ripping 3 sake bombs. I was like, still there? And then they're like, yeah, we would love that. Oh my God. And then I had to have a serious conversation with them after to say, hey, I know last year you guys are having PTSD. Is Kendall just yanking our chain? But no, I was like, I'm serious about it. And I feel like this could be a great opportunity. And I don't want to live life with regrets. Let's do it. And then boom, it was so fast. I spoke to Peacock one time. They already knew me from last year. And they're like, okay, yeah, you're on. And so it was fast. It was fast. And the whole process of sending me out to Fiji and everything, and telling my work about what's going on, and my close friends. But I didn't tell too many people, because I knew how they'd be some of these people can't keep their mouths shut. I'm like, guys, I trust some of y'all. Some of my friends, I'm like, I can tell you. I cannot tell you.
Cannot tell you.
Yeah, because you going to spread the word. I can tell you. So that's what happened. And it's craziness that we are here.
Thank God you're not 45 looking back at this season of Love Island being like, if only I went.
Yeah, now I'll be 45. I'll be like, what were you doing, son? What were you doing down there?
What are you aware of in terms of the perception of you and your castmates and things like that? Like, what do you know about that so far?
I learn more by the minute. It's legit.
Truly,
Like, every single minute, I'm like, oh,
perfect.
wow, look at that clip.
Yeah.
She said what? Where? So I'm learning more, but it's the perception changes. But about myself,
You seem like people's. I guess maybe polarized. I mean, and as someone I've been polarizing for fans before too. So you're among friends, but it seems like there's a lot of different types of opinions about you. And
So
people
true.
True. People seem very on the fence about you. You seem aware of that?
Oh, I'm aware.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm aware.
It was a roller coaster, you
A
know. I was
roller
like, oh my
coaster.
God, I love Kendall. And I was like, oh my God, Kendall, no.
That, and I feel like that is just like exactly it.
Yeah.
It was like, Kendall, my man, look at him. And then like, Kendall,
Oh.
the fuck?
Yeah.
You did what?
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a roller coaster for sure. Since day one.
So what do you think people got right about you, and what do you think people got wrong about you?
I think what people got right about me is that like I'm very like energetic, I'm outgoing, like I'm a personality for sure. I think what people got wrong about me is just like my intentions and how genuine I am, because like going into the show, I was just like, I'm not gonna change a damn thing about myself. I'm just gonna go in there, be open, and see where that takes me. So I had really no expectations going into it. So I think I've seen things online where it's like, this guy had a plan. I was like, y'all are thinking way too deep about this.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like there's been a misunderstanding on that end, because it's just like, I'm like, y'all, any of my family, my friends, they know me back home, and like I'm always my open, like genuine self, and I have never had ill intent, especially towards like that was family in there. Like they're family. And the last thing I want to do is not support people I care about.
I think the only part that I was like, Kendall, damn. It was
Casa?
Well, actually, no.
Oh, so there's more moments.
Okay,
Oh,
perfect.
God.
Perfect.
No, yeah,
Check
I
the
mean,
tapes.
there were like I was like, Kendall doesn't give good advice.
My advice went to shit.
I was like, I wouldn't do that. No, it was the part like after Casa when Serena was like really upset, and you seemed to kind of like get up in her
Yeah.
like grill a little bit,
Yeah.
almost in like in a little slightly aggressive way. Have you seen that back?
I've seen that clip. I was like, yo. Like in the moment, I was just like, I think we were all in the kitchen, and like I was just like trying to like talk to Serena when I didn't want everyone else to hear. So I think it came off as like me like trying to get as close as possible to her. I was like, I've never spoken to Serena like that close, by the way. I think I was just like, didn't want everyone to
hear.
hear. And then I'm looking at myself back. I'm like, bro, why you got your arms crossed? Why are you like looking
you
so
doing?
serious? So yeah, for sure. Like looking back at that moment, I was like, bro, you need to take a chill pill. You need to back the fuck up, because like that's not how I roll. Like especially with my girl Rena. Like last thing I want to do is be like an intimidating. Like people look at me as the opposite of intimidating. Like
I believe that,
No. Yeah, when they were when Nicole was going between you and Miguel, and it was showing her on the dock having a conversation with Miguel, and he's just like very like suave.
Oh my God, I
swag.
forgot. Genuine
And then,
intentions.
and it goes
Like,
to
oh,
you,
what a
and you're
bad
doing
beat.
this like jerk, and you're like genuine intentions with genuine connection.
oh my God. I remember that.
That was a
That's-
tough beat. That was tough.
And
That
that was
was a
Miguel being
tough
like, I
beat.
think we should just kiss. And then it's like, you
Meanwhile,
do.
my dumbass is completely like out of the loop on everything. I'm like, Nicole, explore, do your thing. I'm just like, get your mind off things. Every time like Nicole and Miguel would go off, I'd just be like, oh, fuck. I was
Yeah.
like, here we go. And then I was like, distract myself with something. And so I think I was just with Aaron and like just being
fucking
playful
around.
and like, let's just do the jerk. Like, let's
Yeah.
fuck around. Like, no, nothing's happening over there. Like, just do you. So yeah, that was a moment for sure. But again, that goes to me. I'm just so laid back, and I don't take life seriously at all. I think it's all about having fun. So that's why I think like Miguel and I are very, very different.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
whole situation was a lot.
There has been a video of this girl who is claiming to be your ex.
Oh, goodness
saying
gracious.
that maybe
Oh, I
y'all
haven't- I haven't
dated
seen this one.
and maybe you broke up with her for Love Island.
Mhm.
Is there any truth behind that? Is she your ex?
Okay. Yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into this. Like, I remember coming out, and seeing like my best friend back home like sent me the video
Mhm.
and it was deleted obviously now.
Yeah.
And he reached out to her and was like, how could you be so selfish and think of yourself? You know what this is gonna do for Kendall. Like, I cannot believe you would be so deceiving. Because the background on her is so she's from San Diego
Mhm.
too, just like myself. I met her in Dallas and think this was probably a year and a half ago because it was my prior I started talking to her like before my last birthday. So I just turned 28 in June of
Okay.
what's a month ago.
Mhm.
So it was so was that a year and a half? So about a year and a half ago was when I started talking to her. We went on a couple dates and I think we were probably talking for about like 2.5 months.
Okay.
And like we never like dated officially. It wasn't like, hey, I want you to be my girlfriend. Like it was a situationship.
Sure. Yeah. We went on a
Um,
couple dates.
Yeah, we went on a couple dates and she was a really sweet girl. Like I have like no ill intentions towards her and I just didn't see her like as a future wife at the end of the day. And I was just like, hey, this has been great, but I feel like before we get any deeper, like we should just probably let's go our separate ways. She obviously had other thoughts. She was like, no.
I mean, there's always, I feel like this is on Bachelor, there's always an ex of someone being like, they
Yeah.
broke up with me to go on the show and they try to.
It's so funny how ironic it is because during that time when I was in that situationship with her, that's when Love Island offered me the first year. Like the first,
And you turn it down.
and I told her, I was like, hey, like I turned it down. She's like, oh, so like can't believe you turned that down, all those things. I was like, yeah. I was like it was crazy, like because I turned it down before I even started talking to her.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, it happened, like Natalie said, it happens all the time. And it's
Yeah.
like people would rather think there was some like other reason than they like
Yeah.
don't like you or don't want to be in a
Yeah.
relationship with you. And it's just like, no, it was because
It was for the show.
it was for the show. And it wasn't
Nothing for the
because
show.
I was so
he doesn't
put-
like me.
I was so put aback because like we're on such good terms now. Like
Yeah.
we haven't spoken in like probably almost a year, but like we left on like good terms. Like it
Mhm.
was like it wasn't like any ill intentions. Like she wasn't like mad at me. I wasn't mad at her. And so I was just so surprised when I heard she made that. I was like, wait,
Was it a TikTok?
yeah, it was a
It
TikTok.
was. And it was, I think it was maybe meant on her side. I don't know her.
Yeah.
A little on the playful side because it was like he's gonna have to hear my
Girl,
name
like,
every time.
Don't play like
It was like
that.
he's gonna have to hear my name every time the host comes
Yeah.
in or something.
Because they both
They
are
have the same
names
name.
Ari. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was
It's
just
like he doesn't remember you.
I was like, I'm like, goodness, it was just so surprising. And that sucks because then people see that and they're like, oh my gosh, Kendall, like
Yeah.
he did what? Like he's a game player, all these things. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, y'all, like, no, like this is just a complete lie. Because like it's been over a year
Yeah.
with her, but it sucks that people will see that and believe it.
I mean, that's
mean,
the internet
yeah,
for you
that's
know.
the
I
internet.
mean,
Let's talk about you and Nicole.
Let's talk.
Are you guys for real? Because it seems like a lot of people are not me, but because I actually, honestly, I definitely wasn't like a Kendall, like Nicole stan
Stan.
early on, but y'all made me cry at the end.
same
You really
Oh,
did.
During
Like,
what the
with
speech
your speeches.
Yeah, it was really heartfelt, and the way
came a lot since dear Nicole.
Yeah, the way you pulled it out of her, it felt very sincere. But since then, it seems for whatever reason, people don't seem to be buying you two. And I for a moment there, I thought there was like a breakup rumor already. So, and again, we know that people talk or whatever,
Yeah.
but like, where do you guys stand? And like, what does Kendall think today about your two's chances of making this like an actual relationship?
So for Nicole and I, obviously our journey in Love Island was a roller coaster.
Mhm.
We had our ups and downs, but I feel like it was mostly stable and we were both very respectful of each other. And what I built with Nicole in there was something I've never like felt towards anyone. Like God's honest truth, I've never had those feelings towards a girl. And the fact that they're happening so fast, it felt like didn't seem like real. I was like, oh my God, I actually have these feelings for this girl. And getting out of the villa is just an adjustment. So like Nicole and I, we want to really just work on what we have currently and adjusting that to real life.
What do you have right now?
So right now, like outside the villa, like yes, we are together. And it's just an adjustment of, okay, what is our lives? Like, how do we make this work on the outside? There's a distance thing. Like there's all these questions that need to be answered for us. And we're honestly just taking it day by day because being in the public eye and seeing everyone's opinions, it affects people differently. Like how it affects me, like when I see any like negative comments or about me or about Nicole and I just brush it off. I'm like, yeah, it's the internet. They're gonna have that. But Nicole takes things differently.
How
So
so? What do you mean?
so like we get affected by it in different ways. So I think I don't want to speak for Nicole on how she's feeling, but it's obviously tougher to see some of those things.
No, totally. That's normal.
So moving forward, where we stand is just like, let's take it one day at a time and really get back to focusing on what we built in there and saying, okay, how do we take what we built in there and go on the outside to our normal lives and quote normal.
Do you feel like, the adjustment has made her kind of question, and just again, not that you're answering from her, but from your perception, like when you're in a relationship, sometimes you can feel someone like, fuck, are they pulling away from me? Like, are they downing it? Have you felt any of that a little bit with her or not?
So I wouldn't go as far as saying pulling away, but it's a fact of like where we are. It's just like so much is on our minds, and it's tough to go back to, okay, like in the villa, we were just focusing like on each other, like building what we have. Obviously there's things thrown at us, but like we always found a way to like stick back. Like new bombshell comes in.
Right,
Like, yeah,
right.
it's like it's rumbling. Oh God.
The world is a little bit different than a new bombshell.
It's a lot more different than that.
Yeah.
So I think it's at a point where like we just need to get back to where we were and then build from that. So I think we're still adjusting to that, and it's tough being on the outside and having so many things thrown at you and having to balance that with a girl you care about, and to kind of block everything out. So coming out of it, you like Nicole and I just need to, I'd say just kind of restart and take it one day at a time and really say, okay, like what does life look like for us now? Where do you see us moving forward? And how do we grow from what we had in the villa? So yeah.
Yeah, because I think, especially towards the end, you seemed obviously very confident with how you felt about Nicole. She seemed not necessarily less confident, but maybe harder for her to express. And I thought you handled it like really well. I mean, like it was. I think maybe that was one of your stronger moments, even for your critics. It was like, anyone who like wanted to hate on you, when you kind of sat Nicole down and you're just like, listen, like this is how I feel. I'm gonna own it, but like I'm gonna be patient. I'll be chill. Like however you didn't want to pressure her, anything like that. And then obviously we all know that she finally came around and said that she's in love with you.
That was nuts.
That's nuts.
It was a great moment.
That was actually insane. I was so caught aback. And it's funny, there's some things that you guys just don't see. And during that date I had with her, y'all, I mean, I was so confident going into it. And I was like, Nicole knows, she's like, Kendall's good with his words. I'm the one, like, when we're talking, I think every time during our chats, I talk probably like 75, 80%. And so she puts her little 20% in here and there. Cause that's just how I am. I'm very like outgoing, expressive. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. I tell her always where I'm feeling. And she's just complete opposite of that. Like she's very more reserved, tough shell. So going into that date, I was like, goodness gracious, am I actually going to say this to Nicole? She's going to lose her mind. Oh my God. And when I got the courage to finally say it, because I kept thinking of how to say it in the moment, I was like, fuck, I thought I was going to say it this way. Then I'm like, I don't know if what they show, I haven't seen it, but I'm like running around in circles at one point. I'm like, am I going to say it now? I'm like, oh shoot, no, that was bad. And then when I finally say it, I think I laugh after. I'm like laughing. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy. I'm like, bro, how did I chop this up so bad? Like I fumbled this so bad. And I remember just her face, like, I was like, oh, I'm like, I'm done. And like in that moment when she was like, hey, I have like similar feelings, but I can't say it. Like, y'all, I was like, I don't know if they showed it, but I was gutted.
Where are you?
Gutted. Because it felt in the moment that she was just saying that just to spare me of like how I was feeling. She's like, oh, I don't feel the same way, but yeah, Kendall, yeah, I'll say it when I want. I was like, oh God, this girl hates me. I was like, there's no shot. This girl loves me. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. I put my foot in my mouth. And I remember on the boat way back, like there's no cameras on, but I was just crying the whole time on the way back. Like Nicole doesn't even know that. Well, now she knows. But I was just like, felt so alone and rejected in that moment. I was like, damn, I really put myself out there for this girl, and I had the courage to say it, and I just got pied. I was like, that's what it felt like. It felt like I just got pied. I had to take a while, like, to get myself together, like to get off the boat because we couldn't talk on the way. We're on different sides of the boat. And I remember just having to like sit there and like have her, she had to get off first. And then they're like, Kendall, you gotta get yourself together. You're about to go back into the villa. I had to like literally go and like hide pretty much before seeing everyone because I was just so emotional and I couldn't stop crying. And like I really had to speak to one of the producers and just kind of tell them about how I was feeling. And I'm so glad I did because I realized that that wasn't a moment of rejection for me, but it was a moment of growth. And that Nicole, of all people, she has had so many trust issues from her past. And like she doesn't take these, like, especially these words lightly. And if she in that moment was like, oh, Kendall, I love you too. Oh my God. Like
Mhm.
I would have probably been like,
Whoa.
wait, do you? I would have probably called BS because I know how Nicole is. And like she has that tough shell around her. So the fact that she was so honest with me in that moment, like she could have easily just said, "Oh, can I love you too?" And then like
Right.
and then in her head, she's like, "I don't." But she wanted to be honest and said, "Yeah, I do." Like, but I'm gonna say those words when I'm comfortable, and that's more Nicole than anything. So that's why I was so grateful that she was honest with me in that moment, even though it felt like she was rejecting me. And that's why I was so emotional after. But when I was speaking to someone about it, and they're like, "Hey, like." She does care about you, but she's gonna get there on her own time. And for those words are huge. And I was like, yeah, I understand so much now. And it was like this huge weight lifted off my shoulders. After that, I just felt like, okay, great. I'm gonna give her time. And so like I'm a patient person. So I was like, again, that's why I was like, yeah, you could say it to me like whenever you want. Like, I'll be there never again. So that's why I for sure wanted to put that in my speech because I told her after, like, I don't know if they showed it, I pulled her aside and we just chatted about that because she thought that like when I was gonna pull her aside, I was gonna like ream into her and say, "Oh, how'd you like? Oh my God, I can't believe you said that to me. You should have said it back." I was like, "Nicole, you thought I was gonna say those things?"
Who do you think you are? Damn.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I was like, "What?" And but so she started crying then because she felt so relieved
Mhm.
that I was like just giving her that time and space. She's like, "Kendall, oh my God." Like, thank you, because she's been with like such terrible people in her past that like she's never met somebody like me who's like understanding. And so that meant a lot to her. So that's why I was so took aback when her speech, she's like heading into the speech, she's like, Kendall, I'm so nervous. Like, oh my God, you're good at these things. I'm not. I'm like, hey, I'm like, Nicole, we wrote it down. Like, all you need to do is just go up
Read
there
it.
and just read it. I
Yeah.
was like, why are you freaking out? And then I realized why she was freaking out was because she put that in her speech. That's why in the end, I'm just like, when she said it, I was just like, oh my God.
Are y'all still saying I love you to each other right now?
So yes.
Mhm.
So it's like after the show, I remember like we were still in the hotel in Fiji and like we said it. And I think it's a time where it's like, yeah, we're saying it and it's crazy.
Does it feel more real to say it in the outside world?
Yes.
Yeah,
Saying
I
on the
bet.
outside world is just different. And like, because we didn't say it right away on the outside world. And
Mhm.
like, we still have only said it like a couple times. Like, I could count it on my hands.
So it's not like I love you, bye. You know, like
no, we're
It's not
not.
casual.
We're
Yeah.
not there yet.
Yeah.
So, but it's been said after. And for sure, it's different.
Obviously, as you mentioned, Nicole's been open and transparent about her past relationships or struggles with like partners and like not knowing who they were. And then you guys meet in a kind of a universe that's not
Mhm.
reality. And then there's, you know, just by definition, there's more that you guys don't know about each other than know.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yes.
has Nicole, either of you really, have you guys had moments where did you feel like, oh, I don't know if I know this person? What's been the toughest or scariest conversation you guys have had to have outside of the bubble about like learning about each other, your pasts, things like that?
Yeah. I mean, things come up about each other's past that surprise us. And I think it's taking what that is and communicating about it.
Totally.
So it's like, okay, tell me about this moment in your past that I had no idea about.
Mhm.
And then I get to be honest with her and say, hey, there's a reason why it's called your past. It's not who you are now.
Mhm.
It's not what defines you.
Right.
And it's all about having that honest conversation and taking what you heard from that and saying, okay, is this the same person that I'm talking to, or is this a new updated version of you?
Right.
So that's why like you just have to have those conversations, and that's going to be going to happen for Nicole and I for a long time. We're like, oh shit, look at this! Like, look, like, how are you compared to what this version of yourself was?
And like meeting friends and hearing stories and then
Mhm.
being like, oh my God, one time Kendall did this at a
Yeah.
bar. And it's like, whoa, what? And
I
then
know,
that's
right?
another conversation. I think it will always happen.
So I think it's just having that open and honest conversation, and like having that transparency is key, because so you don't have to have any questions like moving forward. But at the end of the day, like what's past is what I always say. And it's about how you move forward from that. Because if there's moments in your past where you can't like get over, then that's a different conversation. But if you could say, hey, that happened in my past and this is how it's made me grow, and this is why I don't live in that.
I've learned from
I've
it. I've
learned
grown
from it.
from
I've
it.
grown from
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
That is where you get respect.
Mhm.
It's just different if it's like, no, that's the same person, but
Yeah.
that's a different conversation. There's things in my past where I'm like, oh, yep, that was me. I'm still the same goofy ass hell. Like that ain't gonna change. Like, that ain't gonna change.
Yeah.
But there's also ones where it's like, no, that was a mistake.
Right.
And this is how I grew from that mistake. And this is how it's shaped me into the man I am right now.
How do you think as a man you've changed the most for the better?
Oh my gosh. I mean, y'all, when I say going through this experience, I told myself I wanted to be open and vulnerable. If you listen to all my friends back home, like me being like that on the show, like sharing how I feel, like having these deep chats, like that was not how I developed on the outside. Like I was very like to myself, did not want to have those conversations, didn't want to get into a relationship. I felt like I would get hurt because with my ex, like when I like my actual ex, like who I dated, not the fake one,
Yeah.
the real one,
The one you dated.
the one I actually
exclusively.
dated exclusively, and, like made her my girlfriend.
She's listening to this episode and be like, oh, fuck her.
Yeah. She's like, I shouldn't have done that. So like coming out of that relationship, I remember like being so hurt and like, damn, like I spent years with this girl and look where it's gotten me. And like after that, I really went into like single mode. I was just like, I am not going past a first date. Like I would have a first date and it will go extremely well. And I'd say, yeah, I'm not going to pursue this. Like, I'm not going to pursue that. Because I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole of like having those pits in your stomach for like people you care about when things happen.
Yeah.
And it's the terrible feeling when you care about someone and then like they do something or you do something and there's like sort of like this wall between you guys. It's the worst feeling. And going through those things with a person, but I had to remember that there are so many good things when you're in a relationship. But at that point I was just like, nope, like I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But going to the show, I was like, you know what? Like it's been a couple of years. Like if I find someone, I find someone. Like, well, the odds probably low. But what I will do is I'm going to be myself and I'm going to be open. I'm going to be like all my feelings. When I feel something, I'm going to tell that person. And like, I'm not going to hold back. And so I think that's where I've grown the most is that coming out of this experience, like I'm so glad that I did that because I would have never gotten to the point I am with Nicole. Would have never felt those feelings for her. And that's why I have no regrets when it comes to like how open I was on the show, because it got to me to such a point of happiness. Like I've never felt literally like on cloud nine, like cloud nine. Like I was like, oh, cloud nine's a myth. Like I was on like cloud nine with Nicole. Like so, like being with her, like brought out such this different side of me, and like I just felt myself caring for her like more and more by the day. And like that is a feeling that I crave. I legit crave. Better than however fun you could have being single and doing your thing and not being open. Like it's can get cold, honestly. So having Nicole, it was like I felt like such a warmth with her, and so being myself got me there and not holding back with how I felt about her. So I feel like that's what gave me the confidence to tell her I loved her. Without that confidence and being open, like I would have never had those feelings and I would have never been able to have them reciprocated, which again, still shocked that it was reciprocated. I was like, you just saying that? Like you actually saying that? So because I honestly was like, yeah, probably in a couple months, like when we get out of here, maybe like she'll get there. Maybe. And then I was just mind blown when that happened. But no, that's for sure how I've grown since coming out of the Villa. I'm so glad I was the way I was.
Relationships obviously are just hard in general. They're even harder when you're coming off of reality TV. Like what is something that if you guys weren't to work out, what is a challenge that you guys feel like you might be facing? Or like what do you think it will be that you might not be able to get over? Are there obstacles you've already learned about each other where it's just like, hey, I think we got to figure this part out?
Yeah, I think when it comes to like obstacles that we're facing, I'd say between like Nicole and I, it's all about trust.
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many different like birds in each other's ears. Like there's so many in my ear, so many in her ear, and all of that goes out the window if you have that trust.
Yeah.
So what Nicole and I are building right now is trust. Is that point of like, okay, no matter what we hear, like if we go back to each other and talk it out, we could work it out. So I think that's our biggest obstacle is like building that trust, because we built it in the villa, but now it's about, hey, can we build that out like here on the
Yeah.
outside? Is that
Yeah.
something that we can get?
There also comes
Yeah.
a point, I think, where like you do just need to collectively decide to like, hey, we're going to block out the outside noise.
Mhm.
Nick and I did that a long time ago. And it's crazy how much it changes your relationship, because I feel like you do. Yeah. Once you let the world in, like it's so hard to stop and stop reading it and stop listening to it and stop letting it affect you. But once
Mhm.
you're like, all right, this is what matters. What we tell each other matters. Like none of this bullshit does. None of them know us. Like let's just focus on us. And I feel like your relationship, will be amazing.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And like, it's going to take time, and I hope we get there. If we don't, we don't. But I believe in what we have. So I'm praying that things work out. But only time will tell, honestly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of adjustments that need to be had, but there's still a lot of conversations that Nicole and I need to have. So it's like, when we haven't really had time, honestly, guys, like since coming out, like Nicole and I, it's been tough for us to both sit in a room alone and have conversations.
Kind of seems like almost like a scary time for the relationship because you know less than you know, and you haven't had time. You're both individually decompressing,
100%.
like dealing with friends and families' reactions. Like we
Mhm.
all have heard like Kayla's mom talk about Aaron and
Yeah.
shit like that, and how do you deal with shit like that? And I'm sure you guys are going through your
100%.
and obviously you care about her. What would you say the percentage of chances that you guys show up at the reunion still together?
Percentages. I mean, I can't even really put a percentage on it, because
But it's not 100.
It's not 100. No, it's not
Okay.
100, I'd say. Because like there's no guarantees on what will happen. Like I don't know the future. I don't know what's gonna
Right.
happen in a week or in a day or like until the reunion. So like, it would be a lie if I said, 100% chance, because I just don't know. But I believe that when we have those conversations, it can go well, but there's also a thought that like it couldn't, because I'm honest with myself, and like this isn't my decision. Like this isn't like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I want to be with you. Well,
It's
let's do
only up
this.
to
Like
you. Yeah.
it's not like it's in Nicole's court. End of the day, we're gonna respect what we decide on, but it's at a point where we need to have conversations, guys. Like it's just we haven't had those. Like, we came back from the villa, and like it's like all this PR, and like we're having these interviews.
But I also do
and-
understand, like, you get so deep, you have so many conversations in the villa that when
Yep.
you get out, you're like, and this is kind of what Kayla was saying. She's like, I just want to have fun. She's like, I just want to go see the Hollywood sign. Like, I don't want to
See?
talk about my feelings. I don't want to talk. Like, I've been doing that all fucking summer. She's
So
like,
true.
I just want to chill. Like, it doesn't need to be that deep right now.
Mhm.
So maybe you're on the same wavelength.
So yeah, that's why it's been like fun. Like we were at Universal the other day, just having fun, but in the back of my mind, I'm like thinking I still need to chat with Nicole. Like
Yeah. Chat.
we just haven't. I know it's just
How long do you think you're going to use some Love Island lingo?
yeah. I get this. It's
Forever.
He
ingrained.
used it the most.
He did. No,
Brain.
you were
like,
buzzing.
banter,
you were,
buzzing.
yeah.
Wait, so like I heard about the buzzing thing. So I didn't even know that was like a Love Island thing. Like back in you could tell all my boys, like
You've been
even
saying
in
it.
high school, I'd always say the boys are buzzing. Like always would use that. So like buzzing is always been one of my phrases, and it's so funny that like I heard that on the outside, like Kendall, you were using a lot of Love Island, like buzzing. I was like, buzzing is a Love Island lingo. Like
Yeah.
That's funny.
I
like-
thought you were like a UK watcher because I was like, that's
Yeah.
common language.
like no, like I had legit no idea buzzing was all those things. Like gutted,
Yeah.
like gutted is like I use, like that's like my go-to. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling fucking gutted. Like that's just like
That's so funny.
So that's why when I heard all those things, it's like Kendall's studying for this. I was like, y'all, oh,
Oh
my
my
goodness
God.
gracious. It's like that's so not true. But like I have a lot of lingo. Like my friends back home, I say the craziest things. Nasty, like all these different things.
I love
like,
Nasty.
Yeah.
I want to take that. I
you
love
and,
it.
You and Haktua Girl. Yeah.
I love
You know
it.
who Haktua Girl is?
Who's that?
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
no,
fat-
He was in the
they've
villa.
been
They have no
so-
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so crazy.
What Hot Tua?
hot.
There was a
Haktua?
girl who was asked a question in Nashville, like man on the street, and it was like, "What's one thing that you can do to like keep
Keep
your
her-
man happy.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know, you gotta hot to a spit on that thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's
What?
gone like
And now she
absolutely
has 2
insane
million
viral.
followers.
She is too. Yeah.
No.
On Instagram, 3 million if you include all her platforms. A lot.
Goodness
She's crushing life.
gracious.
Yeah, she's, but she was on the show and she said it just like you.
Oh, for
Yeah,
real?
so maybe you inspired her.
Oh, yeah,
That would have
maybe.
been so fun. We should have had like 5 things that have happened in pop culture since they've been gone and be like, what do you think is true? What do you think's not true?
Did they tell you about? Not to get, I mean, we're not a political show, but like there was an assassination attempt that happened in this country which was kind of a big deal. Did you guys even find out about that?
We did it until it was over. Until it was
Damn.
over. Like,
Figured it out.
legit, so
That's
crazy.
Crazy.
That when I first heard that, I was like, that's when it really hit. That, yeah, life still goes on when you're in this villa. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
pause. Like, things continue. And when I heard that, I was just like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, this is insane how long I've been gone. Like, I was there in Fiji for like, felt like over 2 months because they flew me out earlier in like May.
Mhm.
So like coming out was just like, oh my God, there's so
You
much.
flew out in May.
Yeah, like legit May. And
Yeah, I'm like, what has gone on all summer? That like, what has happened?
like,
what can I
yeah.
tell you that you'll be like, who?
Yeah.
Who's getting a divorce?
I know, right? I continuously get shocked every time I'm told news. I was like, oh wow, that happened. Oh my goodness.
What is one thing that you have learned about Nicole since being out that you love that you did not know in the villa?
I mean, like when it comes to who Nicole is, like I think I've learned that she has this really fun, playful side to her. Just for her showing me videos of her phone of her like
Oh, that's fun.
DJing and like her being with her friends. So like seeing that side of her.
She's a
has-
DJ?
She does a little DJing too. Like
Okay.
she's like still early in
Step
the
off.
stage, but I know. But I think seeing that really, because like Nicole, like she has this fun sarcasm to her. And that's why I feel like she keeps me on my toes because I never know what she's gonna say next. Too, she's like gonna roast me or not, and I take it on the chin. But seeing how she is like with her friends and how she is like such a light has really like I'm like wow, I didn't know you had that like really fun like just loosey goosey side to you. Because when I see Nicole, I just see like this strong like independent woman, very mature. So like seeing that side of her is kind of surprised me, but I love it because I'm like, yes, I knew we would have fun on the outside, like doing like going out together, but like I didn't know it was like to that point where she really has that really fun, playful side to her.
All right, I'm gonna give you a scenario. You got your boy, right? He's your best friend. He meets a girl. You become friends with her too, right? Now you're friends with both of them, but your boy's like your boy, and then like you find out your boy is like dibbling on the side a little bit. Like, do you tell her or like what's going on? What's up? Like, how do you handle a situation like that? Because you like at Casa, like it kind of seemed like maybe
Yeah, like maybe he's learned some new tactics,
Guys.
some new ways of
yeah,
moving
like are
since
you
then.
like are you a boy's boy to like to
Get
the
it, buddy.
end or
Oh,
or
God, guys.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm so glad we got to talk about Casa. So I think going into Casa as guys, like we just were like, hey, let's go in with an open mind. But
Yeah, it was open.
it was open. But
My mind's so
Like,
free.
yeah, I know. Do whatever I want here. But I think what went wrong was there was no accountability. There were no guidelines on how to act. Because for me personally, I was like, yeah, like I'll go in here with open mind and like get to know these girls. But I'm always like, before I do anything with a girl, I'm always gonna think, okay, if I talk to this girl this way, or if I cuddle a girl this way, or if I kiss one, like what would I feel if Nicole was doing that? I remember thinking like being in a bed with another girl and like cuddling her, like just putting my hand down a girl, and then I would think of Nicole if she had a hand around a guy and was cuddling her, and I kid you not, it made me sick, like sick to my stomach. I was like, oh my God, okay, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. But for me to get clarity on that, how I felt was, yeah, I'm going to talk to these girls and I'll know, like after conversations, like pretty early on, I'll know. Cause again, with Nicole, first date, boom, I knew. I was like, yes, like this is someone like I really want to like continue to get to know. So having those conversations with those girls, like that's what I wanted to do. And I realized that, okay, this ain't going, none of these girls are Nicole. Like it's not going to work out. So I learned pretty early on in the experience, like where I stood, but other people have different ways of reaching that clarity. That was my way of reaching clarity, and other people had different ways.
But I mean,
But-
yeah, like I think your ways seem to be on the more respectful side, and it's like no one had a problem with the way you moved. It was more
how-
like, why couldn't you be the friend
To say, yeah,
to like, hey man, like think about your girl, or like you're better
Mhm.
than this, rather than being like the kind of the bro-y cheerleader who's
Yeah.
like egging his boy
so
on.
I think I took how I should have acted the wrong way. I was like, yeah, we're in Casa, like this is my experience, but I'm seeing how the guys are rolling. I'm like, I wanted to support them. I was like, yo, hey, if this is something you want to explore, like for instance with Cordell, like I was like, yeah, I saw how he was with this girl, and I was like, hey man, like freaking go for it. And I got caught up in the moment thinking just solely what I was looking at in front of me, seeing Dea and Cordell. I was just watching that. And I was like, okay, this is great. Like, this is great. Continue to explore. Do it. Love it. And then I wasn't thinking, oh my God, Rena back home, Kaylor back home. What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
How would they feel about seeing how Cordell is, how Aaron's doing it right now? How would they feel? I wasn't thinking that. I was just literally thinking, okay, hey, we're in Casa. Like, the goal is to explore. Oh, this is the girl you like. Okay, yeah, do that. Oh, yeah. No, don't worry about it. Continue. Like, literally go off. Like, whatever you want to do. Like, instead of saying, hey, wow, like you just kissed Dea or you just kissed Daniela. Damn. Like, I know we want to explore, but like, you sure this is how you want to go about it? I did not like say any of that. That is my biggest regret. Like, my biggest regret by far is not having the OG girls' backs in there, not bringing it up to the boys consistently, saying, hey, you can explore, you're doing this, but again, hey, remember, like, I don't know if this is the way you find clarity, but just imagine how Kaylor would feel if you do that. Just imagine how Serena would feel if you were doing that. Like, do you really think like this is how you want to act? Like, I did not bring that up, and I regret it to this day so much because I care so much for those girls, like especially like the OGs, because I came in there the first day and like I always had their backs, and like they helped me so much throughout that especially earlier on when I was kind of going through it. Like, I would always go to the girls too, and they would give me such sound advice on to stick through it. I think especially Janae, like Janae has been like my rock. Like Janae and Leah, like they have been for me, like even when I got back to Casa, like they did not waver. They're like, hey, Kendall, we support you no matter what. And so I think especially with Serena, like it was a point where I was like, damn, she was so supportive of me. And I just felt sick to my stomach coming back because I'm like, wow, I really didn't have her back in there. Like, I should have been more upfront with Cordell and been like, hey, like Rena's a great girl, because I know how much he liked her. And I think I just wanted him happy, like seeing Cordell happy. Like, Cordell's like my best friend in there, and we've been through so much, and I saw how like down he would get back in the villa. And when I saw how he was at Casa, I just wanted so much for him. And like reaching out and telling him to stop what he was doing in that moment felt like the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, you're happy, like do what you're doing. And it got to an extent where it was too much.
Kenny said y'all all went into Casa Amor with this list of boundaries. Not sleeping in the bed with without your
Yeah,
shirt, no
yeah.
kissing. How soon did those fly out the window when you got to Casa?
Yeah, I'd say there were boundaries being set, and everyone kind of had different boundaries. I honestly didn't come in with any boundaries. I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna be open and then see what happens. Because I didn't want to say something and then not go forward through it. So I think those did go out the window. Like, you guys saw it pretty pretty early.
Pretty quick.
And I think it was just a domino effect. Like, when someone saw someone doing something, it was like, oh,
You guys like treated it as almost like a hall pass.
yeah, legit.
You're like, oh fuck, I guess I get to do
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah, I know. Like, legit, it was kind of like I think when the first domino fell, I forgot like who, like if it was either Aaron kissing Daniela or like seeing Cordell. I think as a group, the guys were just like, oh shit, like maybe like this is what we need to do. Like, this is the experience, I guess. And that's when shit just hit the fan, and then it like everyone was just like, I remember looking around saying like, this is madness. Like, literally, like, this is madness. And that's why I wish I could just go back in time and just say, guys, like, we gotta get it together. There's like, because Casa was, again, the experience was to get to know these girls. Like, we were not gonna go in there and just sit in a corner and say, all right, everyone just close your eyes, and in a couple days we will be back in the
I mean,
villa.
that's kind of what the girls did.
Yeah.
The girls slept outside. The girls were
Also,
like,
there's
I'm not
like getting to
really-
know someone. I mean, I don't know how well you get to know someone by just like rubbing your hands all over them and shit, but like more like getting to know someone is like talking.
No, I
how
agree.
you move versus some of the other guys.
Yeah, so that again, that's what I thought. I honestly thought that was how it was going to be for all of us. Like, we're all going to talk to these girls, and then and then at the end of it, we'll decide if we want to bring them back. And I think why the guys brought the girls back, like I think everyone brought someone back besides Aaron and I, but the other guys who brought them back, I think the mindset was not we're bringing this girl back because it's a stronger connection. The mindset was we're bringing this girl back because there could be potential there. There could be potential, and we'll see how like the girls react to having another.
Yeah, it was an
girl.
interesting choice. For sure.
Yeah, no, and so
it made for great television.
Yeah, I know. So I think having that was like the mindset of, oh yeah, like for Cordell, like we were like, oh yeah, it will be like you not bringing a girl back would be a disservice to yourself because you need to see if this is real. Like when you bring it back and like see how she reacts to seeing, like how Serena reacts to seeing you with another girl. She's never seen you with another girl before. Like, let's see if she's like got to stick where she is or change. Yeah. And it wasn't a fact of, oh no, Cordell, like, bring Dea back because it's stronger than Serena.
But you see now how maybe that logic.
The logic, like I realized it right away sitting around the fire pit. I was like, oh, bringing a girl back does not mean that. Bringing a girl back means
fuck you.
Yeah. Literally, it means like, oh no, I'm bringing her back because I have a stronger connection. Now, that was not the guy's mindsets at all. Like no one brought a girl back there saying, I'm bringing like Sir, like Miguel, like Sierra. I'm bringing Sierra back because I have a stronger connection than with Leah. Like that's 100%. Like none of us had that mindset. But the girls, we realized quickly. No, the girls said, we're like, hey, no, you bring somebody back means that that's the one you want to fuck with. Like that's the one that you care about more. So and then that's why it was a bloodbath. Like literally, I remember sitting there and seeing all the guys. First of all, that's why I was confused when I came in there. I was like, wait, is Nicole going to decide between me and the guys like in front of me right now? That's why I didn't really realize. I don't know if they put that in there. I was like, all right, does this mean like she is single? Like, does that? So I never being confused. She's like, yes. And I was like, yeah, thank God. So then me sitting there and then like hearing the girls' speeches, like, oh, I had the experience, but like really like said like there's no connection here that's stronger than the one I have back home with my guy from the OG villa. Like this, so I'm gonna stay single. I was like, after every single one of those speeches, I was just like, oh, we did two different Casa experiences. Like we had two different mindsets. The girls' mindset was like, they're not gonna couple up with a guy unless they feel like the connection's stronger. The men's mindset was, oh, if we see even potential, even the slightest potential, like I think even with Kenny, like Kenny with Kat was like such last second, and it was not even close. Like the connection like he had with Janae at that time compared to the connection he had with Kat was not even close. But the fact he was telling me, yeah, we kissed, like, yeah, I might have had a little spark there. Like, think gonna bring her back. Like, see if we could chat further. Like it was not like if we had that mindset of, okay, guys, the only way we bring a girl back is if we have a strong connection and the girl's back home. We'd all come back single. Because that was a God's honest truth. That's why you saw like
you guys are just sampling like at a grocery store when they're handing out those little chicken nuggets. You
know? Literally, we're like,
you're in Sam's Club.
Yeah, literally, we're out there in freaking Sam's Club, Costco.
Like, ooh, snacks.
Yeah. So I think that's where we fell short, and that's why like I have nothing but respect. Like me, Rena, Kayla, like we're on the best of terms now. Like this, it's been buried, squashed. Yeah. Like Serena's still one of my best girlfriends, and same with Kayla. Like we were just chatting again, deep conversations last night. Like I love them to pieces, and that's why I was just so broken inside coming back and having to rewatch myself. Like I was like, God, like every time I like saw those clips, especially movie night, I was like, oh my God, Kendall, you really were a freaking dodo out there. Like you legit had like. What were you? I still have these feelings when I see clips. I'm like, oh my God, Kendall, how did you say those things? Like, because like hindsight's 2020, but only thing I could do is not harp on what I said and just know where I stand with the girls now, and that I have Serena's back, Kayla's back, Leah's back, Janae's back. Like all these girls' backs.
Taylor.
And
said
Kayla.
Taylor.
Yeah, Kayla's back. Yeah, I have all the girls' backs and they have mine, and we could just put that what I said in Casa behind us
Mhm.
and only move forward, because I cannot be happier when I see like Serena and Cordell now. Because guess what? All I care about is Cordell, like, and where his head's at, because I love Serena, but Cordell's like my best friend. So seeing how he is now, like he's skipping around, and that's why I'm like, I can not like support this any more than I legit love them together. Kayla and Aaron, obviously they're going through it a little bit right now with just like, again, public eye perception and like going through it, their own Casa experience, but I love them together. Like that's why like I could be content in this moment and like not have to worry about like comments of what happened in Casa for how I acted, because I know where I stand with the girls now,
Right.
and we couldn't be more closer. But all you have to do is just move on and grow from it. And I've learned so much that you cannot. So I'm very friendly. Like I like to make a lot of friends, and I realized that, hey man, like you have to give people like the truth sometimes, even when it hurts. So like I found myself consoling like so many people who are going through it, that it came across as, no, Kendall, like you need to give someone, like, even if they don't want to hear it, like you got the truth, like not, you can't just like soften these blows,
Mhm.
because then it seems like you're playing both sides. So that's what I learned about just myself moving forward, is that like not everyone could be happy with you. Not everyone's gonna be happy with what you have to say, but you have to say it, because you can't make sure everyone's pleased. Like it's just like, especially for me, like being social and wanting to be friends with everyone. That's just how I am. Like back home, I'm the same way. I love like meeting new people and like being friends with everyone. So, but there gets to a point where it's like, hey, like you got close with these girls, and like you can't bring that same energy you have with the OGs to these girls you just met. You just can't. You can't like talk to Daniela and then have the same conversation with Kayla or whatever it is. It's just different. So I think that's where I've learned more about myself, and that's where I feel like I've grown the most, having that backbone moving forward.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun talking with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being so open.
Of
We
course.
wish you the absolute best of luck, you and Nicole, whatever happens, whether it's as individuals or together.
Thank you.
I hope you guys make it.
Can
I
you
really
give
do.
us one?
Give us a nasty.
No.
Oh.
Oh, no, see, the genuine connections with genuine intentions. Genuine connections with genuine intentions.
Hey,
Genuine connections with genuine intentions.
I love it.
Yeah, we are getting nasty.
Nasty.
Oh, yeah, Kendall. All right, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks,
Wishing you the
Vic.
best of luck, man.
Appreciate y'all.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care. Okay, well, thank you, Kendall. Do we think they're... Well, I don't think they're going to be together by the reunion.
I just have a feeling. I just am not seeing it. I think he's so sweet and I really do want the best for him. But I don't know, just from what I've seen on social media recently.
I was gonna say social media shows otherwise.
Yeah, I feel like if you're in LA at the same time and everybody's with their significant other and then you guys are on opposite ends of the photo, I'm like,
Like, she needs a break.
yeah. And maybe that is what she needs. Maybe she just needs to like decompress and like get back to like her life and like miss him a little bit.
It does make me sad because, like, I do think, like, what we saw on Love Island, they seemed like a good couple. They seemed really compatible. And I think and the people we talked about, how, they have a lot in common. They both kind of, seem to be like, they were almost like nerds growing up. And they, someone said, I remember like, they were talking about they both like are big Star Wars fans or whatever. Not that that's like the end all be all, but like, I think they were one of the more consistent drama-free couples.
Is that enough though?
Well, of course, obviously, like you get to know less than 1% of who these people are.
As-
But like, is it the sticker shock of too much too soon about like who you are in a relationship with?
Yeah. I also feel like when you feel like you have to say things based off of circumstances or environment, like
Inside the villa.
yeah, that
Yeah.
I'm just like, not that it's not a genuine moment, but it is kind of a manufactured moment. I feel like she would have felt like a complete dick if she didn't say those words during her speech when she didn't have to. And now it's like,
the I love yous.
yeah, like I'm just saying, I think for people who have issues with being open and vulnerable and have been hurt and whatnot, saying those types of things, I feel like that also gives you kind of like a shock to your reality, being like, but I said that, but like now I don't know if I meant that, or like, you know what I mean? Because that's a big thing for her.
Oh, so because she said that, and now when she's getting out,
You know what I mean? To where I'm just like, not like buyer's remorse per se, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's like she said a lot, but she doesn't know who she is outside of the villa with this person. So it's like now I feel like we took 2 steps too far,
yeah.
and backtracking almost seems like I don't know if she feels that she can. So it almost seemed better to just kind of cut it and start over, or maybe
you're making me think of a question I wish I would have asked Kendall, but at the same time, I already know how he would have answered.
yeah.
I think the question I would have asked, based on what, and I think I agree with you, is that like clearly Nicole is someone who like struggles with like words of affirmation. She's resistant to opening up, at least with the L word or whatever.
Right.
I'm guessing you two talked about that. She even was open about it, to America.
Mm-hmm.
And Kendall, like you could argue, handled it really in a great way. He wanted to express how he was feeling. Hey, this is a show about love. I'm here to be open. He was.
Yeah.
And then after he didn't get a response back from Nicole, I thought his response was perfect. It's just like, hey, I wanted to say this because how I felt. I don't want you to feel pressure. I'll wait forever. I think that all sounds nice in theory.
Mm-hmm.
But theory is sometimes just theory. I think once the cat's out of the bag, it's always hard to put back in, so to speak. And so if she already knows that he said this, and even if it's said to you and that person's like, I'll wait forever, blah, 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 you still feel like the clock started.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so there
Pressure's
is a
on.
pressure to say it. And then since this is, like you said, the reality TV of it all, and that being the final episode and wanting to have a moment, like it makes her saying it, like that much more disingenuous. Not like she's disingenuous, the moment, the pressure of the show. So I guess my question I would have wanted to ask Kendall, knowing that you know who this person is, do you almost regret saying it? Like, it's like, because he would have said, no, man, I want to be honest. That's what he would have, I know how he would have responded that way. But I really wonder if, like, I think the right answer would have been not to say it. If he knew that he was going to finish fourth anyways, that him and Nicole were going to finish fourth, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, neither of them were going to have a shot at being America's favorite couple. Like, would he have just wanted to, like, take it slow, pull back a little bit, almost act as if, it's almost kind of game playing at this point to act as if like, well, we're both still figuring it out. I need to figure it out. But now that Kendall's is like, I'm not figuring anything out. I know that I love you. And now I'm just waiting for you. Does put it just a ton of pressure on that other person. Even if you like are so chill and, everything you said and everything you said was perfect. He could not have handled it in a better way once he said it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe just not say it next time.
It was just a bit much for her. And I also did tell him, I was like, I do wish that Love Island showed this side of you. And like him talking, I was so impressed with him. And he's so personable. I think he's very self-aware. And I'm just like, I feel like you got such a goofball edit on Love Island that I'm like, it's kind of sad. So I'm glad that we at least got to experience that side of him because I feel like he is so.
He seems like a really sweet, nice, genuine guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sad if they don't work out, but it's definitely giving. Nicole's freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
She needs her space, and he is consistent, right? Like he was the understanding, consistent guy who's just going to be there whatever she needs. And he's in a tough spot right now.
Yeah.
Like I really feel for him because I think it's easy to, make fun of, the fact that like Nicole's clearly pulling back, but like, I don't know. Kendall seems like a really stand-up guy.
He really
He
is.
might not be for you. He might give you the ick, or you might find him weird or whatever. But he seems like a high character guy, and I'm rooting for him outside of the show.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
All right, well that does it for today. Don't forget tomorrow we have everyone's maybe favorite Love Island couple. I think they're competing.
Yeah.
I think they're competing. I know, like no one loves Serena and Cordell more than me. Truly. I love them.
We know.
But I do think Janae and Kenny have a chance of ending up being the actual winners of Love Island. And what I mean by that is like the couple that like, makes it and we all love. We'll see.
Janae's over 1 million followers now, so
Pop off, queen.
yeah.
Get it. And Kenny.
Well, you get to find out more about their love story. You get to see for yourself whether they make it or not. It's a great episode. I hope you tune in. And that's tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we got Jen Tran joining us for Reality Recap. Lots to get into. Plus, we'll be talking more Real Housewives of Orange County. We can dabble in some Dubai. Started watching that. Jersey just finally had a finale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it yet. Did you guys watch it yet?
I'm halfway through.
All right. Well, we'll be talking about that as well. Plus, again, Jen Tran. That's all this week. Thanks for listening. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.